habang inaayos pa ni Arctic ang kanya microphone, he's giving me a thumbs up symbol right now. I think these are target bans towards Michael, honestly. We do see a Silas Jarvan ban. Actually, two of the champions that Michael plays a lot. So I guess FIT did their homework, and that LeBlanc ban as well, which is kind of iffy for me personally because we've seen a great potential, actually not potential, a great play coming in from O on this LeBlanc on Starforge Day 2 if I'm not mistaken. Ang ganda ng LeBlanc performance ni Odon against USA's mid laner na si Dax. And speaking of Dax, Dax is in the voting for All-Stars. Make sure to cast your vote. And alam ko tapos na rin ata yun. Voting is over na pala. So make sure to vote for the returning pro section, but we do see an Ornn locked in for FIT and and a Kale on the side of UST, which is quite ballsy. And in my opinion, Kale is not that strong anymore, and it seems like they do have confidence in whoever will hold this Kale.
Yeah, indeed. Really interesting to see whether or not they could persevere to reach those later parts of the game where the skill would truly shine. Overall, though, we did see a bit of a hover over the Twitch. They do decide to go for the safer route and lock in support, which will be the Braum.
Yeah, and Braum support. Actually, this is quite surprising for me. Hindi ko nakikita si Crescio masyado gumamit ng Braum. And usually nakikita natin si Crescio on champions such as Rakan and Karma, which boasts a lot of shields and heals. Ito literal na shield to eh. Yung may shield talaga na ginagamit. Hindi yung shield na makikita mo na humaharang ng damage. But again, I guess Crescio has some secret pocket picks to show. Meanwhile, for the side of FIT, they locked in a Rakan, which is, I think, a great pick coming in for FIT. Rakan, one of those supports that are really great no matter what kind of composition.
Exactly, and looking at just these two picks right off the bat coming in from FIT, you have an Ornn, a Rakan, now a Lee Sin locked in as well. A lot of ways where they could really start to look into fights on to the side of UST, and it'll be really interesting to see whether or not that aggression can translate to shutting down UST from reaching that optimal spike, especially with a kill revealed right off the bat. It looks like it will be the Rek'Sai though locked in for their jungle pick.
Yeah, and I think this Rek'Sai pick is a great pick to match yung jungle presence ng Lee Sin early. Lee Sin, one of those champions that can really put a big dent on the early game of any champion na kalaban niya. So we are looking at Lee Sin right now. I guess they picked this early game jungler to counter the scale. You do not want Kayle to scale. We all know kung saan dinadala ng Kayle ang laro by the time she hits that power spike for her pass.
Exactly, and just looking at the second rotation of bans here, we have the Azir as well as the Lucian. Definitely a lot more focus once again, just more targeted bans that we're seeing, aside from being much more proficient picks that we're seeing in the current patch. Let's go ahead and see how FIT is going to lock this in, though. Ooh, lots and lots of power.
Yeah, and the Lucian ban would be there as well. A lot of AD carries getting choked over here. At wala pang napipiling AD carry on both sides. We have an Ezreal still open and an Ashe as well, but looks like we are seeing a Syndra lock in first for the side of UST. I think this will be a mid lane Syndra, and now FIT will be forced to choose their bot laner first, which means UST has the opportunity to counterpick, but the same could be said for the mid laner. Syndra has a lot of counters. One of them being is Lissandra or any other, actually even Kassadin would be a great pick against the Syndra. So let's just see on how FIT will respond with the Syndra, and they do respond with the Vladimir. Again, a lot of counters for the Syndra, Vladimir being one of them.
Yeah, question is, what's the final lock-in gonna be for FIT to round up this composition? Because it's looking pretty explosive. Would love to see that last pick just fully complement the composition that they've drafted here. 5 seconds on the go. It looks like it will be, as you mentioned earlier, Womi, it has been left open and they will go that route. It's going to be the Ezreal.
Yeah, and now that we think of it, this whole draft coming in from FIT, this is usually a draft that you see from UST. This is quite odd because yung champions kayo ng UST, this is being someone from UST and napanood ko halos lahat ng laro ng Teletigers, this is quite new for me. I've seen Pau and Forzando on Syndra and Kale, but looking at a Braum misfortune bot lane for Crescio and Len is quite new. But for the side of FIT, I feel like they drafted beautifully in this game. I would give the draft to FIT this game mainly because of of their power spike being even. We have Lee Sin to secure that their early game won't be bad. And even if they go towards the late game, we have a Vladimir and Ornn. And if Ornn empowers any of Vladimir's core items, it's gonna be terrible for UST. So let's just wait on how UST will play this. Because Kale, yes, she's a strong top laner in the late game. But she's not as strong as she was before.
Right. And I'd have to agree with you, Omi. Just looking at both sides here, if you're looking at a composition, if you're looking for a composition rather, where you want to go for something that's a little bit more well-rounded, that's much more cohesive with what you want to accomplish in this game, one I'd definitely give it to FIT. Just looking at the side of UST, there's much more caution that they need to put into this composition, I guess, because getting shut down earlier on, if FIT could push that, given the composition that they have, especially, then that's going to spell a bit more trouble for UST as far as them trying to look for that build up that they need to really shine in that late game, given the picks that they have, where you're probably not going to be expecting as much. Rek'Sai, sure, definitely going to help try to relieve that pressure that FIT is going to bring. But yeah, I would say just by the pick and ban from the get go, loving FIT here more so than USD. But USD, I'd like to see how they manage in the early game because early game is going to be very, very crucial for at least lasting the early game.
I do agree with you, Theo. But habang nag-aantay tayo ng spectator delay natin, let's talk about how this game will run outside of the game. Which means, yung Dragon Baron kill mechanic natin na 1K. And I feel like it's gonna be a fun mechanic for this game. Again, para sa mga bagong dating lang, every kill, every Baron, and every Dragon of the winning team will be an additional 1K donated to the Philippine Heart Center. And this is for all 3 games. So may potential talaga na makaabot pa tayo ng 100,000 if umabot ng Game 3. But again, these are pretty serious teams. They're not here to mess around. Kaya ibig sabihin nito, may chance na ma-2-0 kahit sinong team. And may chance din na umabot ng 3 games na talagang seryoso. And unlike sa mga show match, I feel like this FIT versus UST finals, there's a little bit of pride in the line. Magkapit bahay ang FIT at UST. Nag-share sila ng Espanya. And medyo nasa Moraita side na yung FIT. But then again, neighbors will always have this slight competition na kasi honestly, I would say it out publicly that FIT and UST are friends. Organization-wise, friends sila. And nagbibiroan nga yung mga players. But when it comes to the Rift, these are serious competitors. I have high respect for FIT dahil alam nila na kailangan seryoso sa mga ganitong klaseng liga because some people look down on collegiate and I hate that. Na parang collegiate lang naman yan eh. That's not something you say. Collegiate is by far one of the best leagues. Sinabi mo na nga, inaabangan mo dati. That means there are other people as well na nag-aabang para sa mga ganitong klaseng laro. But of course, we are about to enter the game and para sa mga bagong dating, we hope you're enjoying the show as of now. Wala ka pa masyadong namimiss. We're just in game 1 of FIT versus UST. Theo, I want to hear your predictions for game 1. Hindi mo naman kailangan maging biased masyado, pero just say what you have to say.
Oh, man. I am not gonna lie. Probably this is gonna be biased, I guess. The unbiased person in me is definitely gonna say that I would love to see FIT take game 1 only because of I just heavily prefer this composition over what UST has. I'm all about compositions that have a little bit more contingency to them. At the same time, though, just looking at LVL and whatever happened after LVL, the other tournaments that we've had, I love the Len Crescia bot lane. So just the as far as being a fan of collegiate, I would love to see UST take it as well. Goes both ways for me, to be honest.
Well, ako ang sa prediction ko. I'm gonna be quite honest for the predictions here. Kasi, predictions you can on. Sorry, I got quite distracted over there. But predictions ko dito is, I feel like FIT, unbiased ako dito.
Mm,
FIT will have game one of this best of three series in my opinion, just because of their composition being well balanced.
mm,
But let's see kung anong magagawa ng UST, because if we scrutinize UST's composition as of now, yes, it's quite odd, but the team fighting coming in from a Syndra and a Promise Fortune is a massive game changer. So let's just see if they can actually pull it off, because
definitely.
not every wombo combo team comps work out.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's one thing to look at a team with, again, like we mentioned, it's well rounded. There's a lot of things that they could work with, especially in team fights, to make sure that things go in their favor, in their control. It's just that at the same time, you have to remember that the flip side as well, if USD pulls this off, they have tons of damage across the board. So, like I mentioned, it's going to be very crucial that they survive at least the earlier parts of the game, because come the later parts, if they're able to do that, it doesn't necessarily have to be them pulling ahead. Even just maintaining equal ground is a huge win for UST in this game one.
Yeah, they early game kailangan talaga mag-focus ng UST na hindi sila mahirapan masyado. Again, this is Lee Sin jungler. Mahihirapan talaga sila.
Hmm. I think the hope and the prayer here is that the Rek'Sai at least tries to make sure that things are doesn't even have to be looking for those skills, as long as he helps relieve the pressure that we might be seeing from Aleeson on the flip side, which is just expected to bring the pressure on the flip side, along with whatever elements complement this composition, or rather this jungler whenever he does gank. Well, we'll see though, because it looks like the action is finally gonna get started.
Yeah, nandito na nga tayo. There are 5 people in this death brush. Actually, no, 4. 4 people in this death brush. Literal na pag natamaan ka dito ng Brom, puno agad lahat ng stacks mo. But FIT is quite careful. They are not risking anything, and UST seems to be backing off from this strategy.
Looks like we see a group up coming from the side of UST though. Gonna be very interesting if they could pull this off. It on the flip side though, FIT, as you can see, they have all entrances covered here. Gonna play it a little bit more safer, which is interesting. Interesting. Just given the difference in composition here.
Okay, okay. Looks like this is gonna be no, they actually steal it out. They take the red buff away?
Huh. Oh.
Oh no, they actually steal it away, and now Agito Kano will be facing off 428 in the top lane, and this is gonna be a hard lane for Kale over here.
Okay. So yeah, it looks like okay, there we go.
Yep. And right now, Pau would be harassing this Vladimir a little bit. Kailangan niya talagang harasin dito si Vladimir. Mahihirapan siya dito pag nag-scale off ang Vladimir. And we all know what late game Vladimir could do, especially against the Syndra.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so I guess especially for our viewers here, what you want to keep an eye on is the movement coming in from both the Lee Sin and the Rek'Sai. Again, Lee Sin definitely want to try to create opportunities. Rek'Sai on the flip side going to try to relieve pressure, but it will be a nice bonus if you could try to look for opportunities as well. But look at the damage going in onto that Vladimir. Going to need to pull himself a bit back under turret, but just fine. Sustain to work with, so should be A-okay.
Yeah, and Vince G and Tria is in the top lane, spotted by a control ward, and Agito Kano will engage, hindi matatamaan na knock-up and just tunnels away. The jungler for FIT was there as well. That could have been a 2v2 early on, and you don't want that as kill.
Not at all. Look at this nice push in though. Good thing for USD. This is actually really good because again, Lee Sin definitely going to try to look for opportunities. One way that UST can help relieve some of that pressure, aside from just the rec side being proactive in that, is making sure that they keep a vision. Not necessarily vision, but at least if they keep track of that Lee Sin. If they track that Lee Sin, then that should grant them safer voyage going into those later minutes of the game.
Yeah, and speaking of later minutes of the game, I think FIT and UST has the balance on power spikes na doon talaga sasabog yung laro if ever. But as of now, I think things should be pretty calm. And honestly, we don't want that. Gusto natin ng maraming kills sa laro na to. But let's see kung anong mangyayari sa game 1. That's gonna be a knock-up landing on Crescio. But Vince G and Tria already there. Michael hovering on the bot side and mukhang nakaping ang FIT doon na may jungler sa baba and they actually back off. A lot of damage already dropping on Crescio.
Yeah, and it's also interesting to see that UST's jungler trying to look for things on the blue side jungle. And they are aware that this Lee Sin is lingering towards bot as well. Nonetheless, UST confident, given that they have the vision, just gonna continue to push in. We'll just pull back if ever this Lee Sin does show his presence in the bot lane.
Yeah, and medyo natamaan ng electrocute, but the trade coming in from the transfusion as well heals a little bit back. Grabe talaga ang damage ng Syndra in lane. At mas lalo na mid-game, that burst damage will be unreal.
Ooh, unreal indeed. It's really interesting to see though, based on how these lanes are pushing all that damage though.
Yeah, pero naubusan na siya dito ng mana and may hihirapan na dito si Pau mag-CS a little bit or maharas pa ba niya. Crescio hovering in the mid side a little bit and Lee Sin as well. You as a Syndra, you do not want to end up with no mana so he backs off a little bit, taking that second Doran's thing for bonus mana regen and of course bonus starting resources as well. Ang ganda ng double Doran's thing in this matchup given that Vladimir is a battle mage.
Definitely. And just like to highlight the movement from Crescio here. Again, vision is kept on point, and in case anything funny did happen in that mid lane, whilst that Syndra losing out on Mono, Crescio would have been in the position to respond. Wasn't really needed though, like I mentioned at the end of the day. So all is well. Yeah, like you mentioned, Womi, things are looking pretty calm these first few minutes of the game.
Yeah, and already half an HP. And nakabalik na nga si Pau, pero nauna mag-level 6 dito si O. And I don't think Vladimir would be dying here, pero matatamaan na, hindi matatamaan na knock-up dito si Michael. And Michael levels up to 5. 1 level gap lang naman sa jungle. And I feel like pagka-spawn ng mga camps sa red side neto ni Lee Sin, makakahabol din siya ng XP. But the first dragon of the game will be that Ocean Drake. So ibig sabihin, regen yan. Maganda for any composition in this game, especially for Vladimir and other people who can poke other people down.
Definitely, that region will grant them a lot of lasting power on the map.
Actually, that's gonna be another resonating strike landing, and the ultimate coming in from Prow deals a lot of damage, and looks like this is gonna be first blood for UST, but this is 3v2 as of now. Oh, a lot of HP at nagre-regen pa siya. Vince G and Tria hindi actually na-block ni Crescio ang Forge God, and it's gonna be a great play coming in from UST. First blood goes to Crescio.
Yeah, that was really good for UST. Again, the ideal thing for UST is to at least not lose out in the early parts of the game, but cherry on top would be if they could actually pull kills themselves. And I think, okay, so looks like they did try to attempt Dragon, but they will play it a little bit more safer, knowing that there was a convergence coming in from FIT in that bot lane where they could have responded. Still good, just that one kill. Might not have been able to push for Dragon, but still a good start for the Teletigers.
Yeah, and for Teletigers right now, we do see that 1 kill gold lead, but 428 is surprisingly pulling this off. Medyo nalalamang ang panganya si Agito sa top lane. It's already ranged because level 6 kill. Para sa mga hindi nakakaalam at hindi hinawakan si Kale, matagal na nating na-rework. Yung na-rework ni Kale, pinaaga na yung range niya. Level 6 range na agad siya. And by level 11 niya makukuha yung added battle bonuses na added damage. But looks like this is gonna be a great outplay coming in from Agito. But the divine intervention will be enough to save his life from that third shot. That's gonna be no kills in the top lane as of now. And great warding coming in from 428 as well. But Lee Sin looks to be hovering. Hindi pa siya nakikita. Pero ngayon, eto na mga danger ping. Nako, Kale, you are in danger in the top lane. The slow will land at mapapa-flash din siya palayo. Resonating Slime will be kited away as 428 will be outplaying that 2v1 gank.
That was beautiful towards the top side. That sidestep made it was pretty much a make or break it moment. Had he not sidestep, it could have spelled catastrophe for 428 towards that top side. Didn't really has as much to work with, but because that sidestep just makes it out a-okay. Good attempt though, coming in from FIT.
And speaking of dragons, wala pa tayong nakukuhang dragon for this game. And the kill score is just 0-1. Medyo tahimik talaga ang early game natin. I feel like sa skirmishes pa tayo babawi ng dami ng kills dito. But we're 9 minutes in pa lang, level 6 na halos lahat ng mga tao. Actually, lahat ng tao level 6 bukod kay RNG0. But looks like the first Lit Herald will be called. That's 1K going for FIT if ever sila yung manalo. Pero mukhang UST will be taking the Ocean Drake in response. And looks like it's going to be free. Nagre-recall ang Vladimir without teleport.
Yeah, Rakan tried to check it out, but I mean, just given the numbers, it's a good done deal. UST was in a better position to easily take that, and yeah, just another +1 onto UST side. This early game is really working well for them, better than I expected, in fact.
Yeah, and for the early game for UST, grabe, pag nakuha nila tong early game, gaganda mas lalo ang mid-game and late game nila, and magiging baliktad yung sitwasyon. At sila yung mahihirapan mag-scale. But then again, we're talking about the Vladimir. Super safe in this mid lane. At of course, mahihirapan din ang UST to handle that, especially with a well-timed Sanguine pool.
True. And especially if...
Okay, wait lang. Sinipa pa balik. The barrier is burnt. Pero nandito pa ang ulti ni Vladimir at Resonating Strike ang tatapos. That's gonna be a clean kill coming in from FIT.
That's the gank that I'm looking for from FIT. Okay, top side, 428 is making a comeback. But yeah, I mean, first 10 minutes were a bit stale. Looks like there will be an attempt to try to push out, try to close out this mid lane early, summoning Rift Herald. And yeah, this is going to be a great benefit for this Vladimir. Earlier we were talking about how painful that Vladimir might be. Has a lot of staying power because of the sustain that he has. And yeah, the FIT is able to keep this up. Again, just looking back at the composition, get that optimal set in the later parts, and then let that Vladimir just dish out the damage that he can. This is going to be great. Again, still looking like anybody's game here. Was kind of worried that we wasn't seeing much from the Lee Sin, but after that gank in the mid lane, looks like FIT is still doing A-okay.
Then, speaking of doing A-okay, FIT right now, 16.3k. Walang gold lead na nagaganap dito. Mga 700 lang, hindi pa ganun kalaki. And usually, sinabi mo na nga, it's still anybody's game early on. 11 minutes pa lang ang nakakalipas at tig-isang kill pa lang. Hindi pa talaga natin nakikita kung anong potentials ng action sa game na to. But that's gonna be an electrocute proc on O. Great kiting skills coming in from Pau. Wala siya sa range ng transfusion nun. Could have been a trade one by Vladimir if medyo lumapit pa si Pau.
Definitely. Okay, there you go. Looks like trying to get as much damage as possible on this Vladimir when he can, but that's the tricky part. Can't really force the Vladimir out, but okay, another fight happening.
That's gonna be a great two-man charm coming in from the Rakan, pero mukhang hahabulin siya ng ulti at exhaust won't be enough and the stun won't land on the Vladimir. Oh, looks to be in trouble, but the ultimate coming in from the Syndra won't be enough as ASD FJKL will go against Michael in a 1v1. Flashes into Cresho, flashes in behind the shield, the Resonating Strike to a double kill. Great play coming in from this Lee Sin at mukhang hahanap pa siya ng triple pero masastun siya ng passive ng Brom pero hindi tatama ang Resonating Strike. One more Dark Sphere could steal the deal but the jump will secure the triple kill instead.
Man,
making plays.
Yeah, love the connect, love the plays coming in from that Lee Sin. Just right at that last moment, there's a lot of ways that could have gone wrong for FIT's jungler there, but just the constant outplays and the cherry on top, of course, was the dodge on that Dark Spear by connecting over that ward. But yeah, just talking about what went down there, a little bit interesting coming in from UST. Different objectives from what we saw there. Rek'Sai was still in pursuit of the Lee Sin earlier, whilst the rest were kind of directed towards that mid lane. And as a result, Lee Sin, just knowing he could go toe-to-toe with that Rek'Sai, took that chance and yeah, just kept continuing right there. Triple kill going into the Lee Sin. Looks like FIT is back on track as far as what they want to accomplish in this early game.
Yeah, and speaking of early game, 4-3 pa lang, 13 minutes inside the game. Both teams with almost the same goal score. 1K lang nila man ng UST, but for kill score, lamang ang FIT. We kind of predicted this earlier, Tio. Lamang talaga ang early game ng FIT. But then again, gold lead-wise, medyo nakakalamang ang UST at madadagdagan pa yon dahil sa plating sa bottom lane. And Dragon will be spawning soon. Mukhang may malaking laban na magaganap para doon. But speaking of laban, nandito sa top lane, sinampal ni Agito already half an HP. The slow coming in from Gunblade will create a little bit of space, but it won't be enough to secure any amount, actually no, any big amount of damage on Agito. Sobrang tanky talaga ng mga Ornn.
Yeah, unfortunately for Kill, it's going to take a little bit more of a while before she could deal any form of significant damage towards her counter bar, towards the top side. Ornn is just going to constantly soak up all that damage amidst those trades. Good thing for 428 though, he's getting a nice push up towards that top side. Yeah, we did see a little bit of a convergence towards that bot lane though, but a trade-off between this Vladimir and
the
mid lane.
phase shift on the mid lane of O, pero mukhang hindi na siya lalaban kay Pau. The Dark Spear won't land as well, and the stun won't land din. Medyo great kiting skills coming in from O over here.
Take note of Crush's positioning though. We'll be clearing out some vision from the side of FIT. Definitely want to try to control the map as much as possible. Don't want to give any further opportunities to this Lee Sin to already build up on the 4 kills that he already has.
Yeah, and mukhang tatama ang resonating strike. Will he pull the trigger? The charm won't land dahil doon sa stun ni Pau. Scatter of the week. Napaka-prime meta move na ginawa doon ni Pau.
This is going to be interesting though. FIT making the call to go for this dragon. Take note, UST is in the position to potentially contest this as well. Teleport is coming. Looks like we're going to see our first explosive fight of the game.
4-2-8 already here on the backside. Natatamaan ng resonating strike as Call of the Forge gun is called. The ultimate coming in from Kale will be massive, but that's already a double kill for the Kale. Ace Leaf Chicken pumasok na naman, and that's gonna be a shutdown kill for UST as UST cleans all. Napakaganda ng ulti na nanggaling kay Kale at walang namatay sa side ng Teletigers.
Exactly, that was a beautiful fight coming in from UST. I'm just baffled right now because if there's anybody that I felt could have been controlling team fights given the composition that they have, it's FIT. They have all the crowd control in the world to work with, but that didn't really seem like the case. Oh man, and looks like just a little bit of a drive through for this kill as they get another kill. They did lose out on the misfortune, but yeah, UST overall at the end of the day got a lot more benefits reaped at the end of everything.
I am sorry for doubting this Kale first pick. Looks like this is something else, but looks like O is looking for 2 kills. He's going to use that Sanguine Pull. That's a knockout plans and 2 great engage coming in from RNG0, but they're forced to back off after burning that exhaust. But he enters right back into that fight, and the damage coming in from Kale is just too real as the Q coming in from Cresho will secure the deal. RNG0 waiting for that W to come up once again, but 428 is now on a rampage with a resonating strike not landing, and he's looking for more with the emote as well. 510 is the kill score and 5k is the goal lead as the 428 goes ham on this Kale.
Yes, man. Oh, man. 428 earlier, sure. You know what? I don't really deal much onto my counterpart, but wait a minute. Because 428
oh no, looks like Kale overstepped a little bit, but he dodges off a little bit of that mystic shot as Nye is still looking for that kill. He will be walking away. Resonating strike lands on Cresho. Will he pull the trigger? No, he won't. As 2 people from UST stay alive! Joke lang! A snipe coming in from Nye secures the kill on the Kale.
Soarin' flying true shot barrage luckily manages to graze 428 just so that they make sure to secure the kill. Meanwhile, there is a heavy push coming towards the spot lane, and it's only Cresho that is on the defense. Couldn't really do much though, so it does look like FIT's bot lane will get a significant amount of damage. Whether or not it'll be a takedown, looks like they might actually be leaning towards that. We are seeing some things for UST though, but unfortunately there's nobody really in a position to try to contest this. It's only going to be Cresho to try to hold off for as long as possible, but it's not deterring FIT's bot lane.
Yeah, and FIT really decisive in taking down that bottom lane turret, and now that puts them up with their first turret of the game. 1-2 is the third score. We're 17 minutes inside the game. 2 drakes already for the side of UST. At sa ngayon, Arctic, I feel like UST is winning. Pero alam naman natin na yung late game potential coming in from this Vladimir and Ezreal is still there for FIT. And it's not like sobrang laki ng gold lead natin. One big team fight could change the tides of this game for the side of FIT. And looks like O is already taking it to his hands. 1v1 dito sa mid lane, hindi tatama ang Dark Sphere and he walks away.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at how things are transitioning to this mid game, the standings, rather the scores for champions across the board for UST pretty much says it all. There's so much that they could work with. This is probably the dream, if anything. A 4-1-3 kill at 18 minutes into the game is absolutely insane. This is just the makings of a champion that we know can just do crazy things in the late game, but getting a kill ahead this early is just asking for trouble if you're FIT. Ah, man, but let's go ahead and see what's going on here. UST establishing much more control over the side of FIT's map. They're already going for offensive maneuvers here on FIT side of things.
Sorry, but I'm thinking that UST over here is already pushing the pace of the game. Hindi pa late game pero nagpupush na sila as if it were. But the call of the Forge God will be there, forces the flash out of Pau, respecting the engage coming in from that Ornn.
Ooh. Let's see. Push in, coming in towards...
Oh no! Theo, 428, he looks like he's in trouble. The kick will be there. Agito Kano as well. The resonating strike will land. The charm as well. The knockup will force the divine intervention. It looks like this is going to be a dead angel in the top lane as the war jump will secure the kill. The jungler of FIT securing his 5th kill of the game.
Right, and speaking of things though, looking up towards topside, the number of players that FIT committed to go for that defense was a go signal for this Misfortune and Bromgo. You know what? Everyone's committed towards topside. That just gives us all the more freedom to push in the bot lane. And
Vince G and Tria looking for a little bit of blood. At literal na blood nga, dugong-dugo to si Vladimir at tatama ang stun sa kanya. But speaking of sieging, mukhang UST is very adamant on taking those turrets early on.
They really want to try to cut down on FIT here. And if anything, if UST is able to continue this, the only fights that FIT will be able to take, I guess, is the fights that UST bring to them themselves in the midst of these pushes and shoves that are happening. But good to see FIT, they're still trying to at least maintain a level of control, getting some vision towards the bottom side of this river. But it looks like Cresho already on the case to clear them out.
Yep. And Cresho, medyo nag-CN siya. Last week, Bright VC yata yung IGN niya. Now, it's Dappled Stars. Medyo edgy. Pero,
may context ka ba kung bakit?
Hindi ko rin alam kung anong context nun. But, alam ko yung Bright win ni UST Len is from the Thai drama that everyone's raging about right now. But look, speaking of rage, mukhang ginagalit na nila ang Dragon dito sa bot lane. It's gonna be an Infernal Drake, the 3rd Drake of the game. And again, FIT surrendering the Dragon to UST.
Okay, 3rd Drake of the game. The stars are aligning for UST. And I ain't talking about Starforge. This is just a pleasant surprise coming from UST. This is just classic. On paper, you would expect that FIT had a lot of contingency, but the contingency isn't really working in their favor right now.
Call of the Forge God doesn't land. Great kiting from 428, but the burst damage coming in will be too real as the divine intervention will be forced out. He flashes into O, pero mukhang mauuna ang transfusion as O gets the kill on Kale. 4-3-3 from 4-1. This looks to be trouble for UST dahil hindi na masyadong napabagal ng FIT ang pace ng Kale scaling into the late game.
Yeah, question is,
at mukhang naghahanap pa siya ng dagdag na kill dito. The snow will land on the Rakan. Charm will only land on 1, but the burst damage coming in from the Syndra will be getting Agito Kun too low. And the ultimate will get the 2nd kill as well, pero mukhang hindi niya makukuha dahil sa shield. FIT with a great call to back off from that fight. And that's only 1 down. If UST decides to take Baron, may teleport si Agito.
Question is...
the stun lands on Yen Yen. Yen Yen looks to be in trouble. Mapapatay kaya siya dito. The flash is burned for Michael, pero masaslow din dito si O. The gunblade is too real dito kay 428 at nag-emote na nga. Sure kill na daw kasi. And that's gonna be 3 people down for the side of FIT as UST will be trying to take more objectives habang open ang mapa.
Ako, galit na galit ang Kuya 428 nyo. Kanina nyo pa ako ginagang sa top side. Ako naman ang papatay sa'yo. Pagbalik ko, ka-teleport. And this is gonna be great for UST because of the numbers that they were able to constantly take down from FIT. Ito na nga ang prize nila. Ito ang back.
Yeah, and speaking of Baron, additional 1K yan para sa donations natin. But 8-13 ang kill score natin. Medyo malapit. Pero kung titignan natin ang gold score, it's far from being a close game as of now. It is an 8K gold lead at madadagdagan pa ng 1,000. It's now a 9K gold lead for the side of UST. But the question persists, ano ang gagawin nila sa Baron buff? Masasara ba nila ang laro o makakabawi ba ang FIT?
What I'm wondering is whether they're gonna go back to regular programming from what they've been doing towards the first few minutes. Again, we've regularly seen 428 just getting that solo push towards top side, and twice the moments where he overextended towards the top side, we see 3 members of FIT committing to get the kill onto the skill. But now with a Baron, it's looking like a much more feasible thing to do just because of the speed that they'll have towards sieging, wherein FIT gonna have to make some much more calculated decisions with how they segregate their troops towards top, towards mid, towards bot lane, if ever UST goes for the full-on push across lanes.
Yeah, and speaking of full-on push, UST has been sieging left and right. We are seeing 5 turrets down already for UST. Meanwhile, for FIT, isang torre pa lang ang napapabagsak nila, and it's already looking to be almost a 10K gold lead as mukhang pipincer maneuver nila dito si Lee Sin. He already burns the resonating strike, but that's gonna be Michael on the side as well. Nyenye will burn out that essence shift at mukhang in trouble na dito ang AD carry, but the Rakan ult will charm too as Nyenye will be taking that conquer stack with him. Brightwin, a lot of damage from this misfortune in a 2-man stun to a bullet time. That's gonna be a lot of damage for the side of UST at mukhang tatlo ang patay sa FIT as they push more turrets to end this game.
That was so frustrating for FIT. Given that you have a Lee Sin that was just a scary threat in the earlier minutes, to just deal with a Braum and a Rek'Sai converging on you with not really being able to trade as much. Ah man, USC is just on fire 24 minutes into the game right now, and looks like they're ready to take all the more as they siege in on this mid lane inhibitor.
Yep, and mukhang masisira na ang mid lane inhibitor para sa side ng FIT. Meanwhile, Baron empowered minions marching down in the top lane as well. Agi Tocano looks to be dashing away. The slow coming in from Braum and the stun coming in from the passive will lock him down a little bit, but Rakan will offer a few heals off shields and safety. Pero nakapasok sa backline si Vladimir, and the Forge God will land on 2. The ultimate from Gale will send him back na wala masyadong damage. A double kill immediately on this scale as 3 people from FIT will be forced to defend this. Looks like mananakap up dito si Brightwin, and Brightwin will get shut down this Rakan. RNG 0 on the backside with great plays. Nyenye already poking down the Syndra at mukhang hindi siya mamamatay. Great shield coming in from Kesho, pero RNG 0 full ang HP. This forces out UST to back off as Vladimir is looking for blood. Medyo marami ka ng dugo pero gusto pa niya dagdagan pa. The flash, the snare, the knock-up will land on the Syndra as well, and O will be rushing towards Crescio. Dappled Stars will be able to back off as they will try to get the final Drake of this game. The Infernal Soul might secure the game, pero tignan natin dahil mukhang buhay na buhay pa ang FIT.
FIT, they were able to get a few kills here and there amidst the push of UST, but that's peanuts in comparison to what UST was able to accomplish here. They get a dragon, can they get a kill?
Oh, the slow will land on the Braum, and looks like Agitokun will be stuck in the wall. Vince Giantria, Michael will be taking that kill as the ultimate will secure a double kill as well. At mukhang buhay na buhay pa siya dito, pero hahabulin siya ng Lee Sin and Ezreal. The shutdown will go for the Rex. The shutdown will go towards the Rex, rather. And 428 already level 16 bonus range na yan. Mas nakakatakot na ang kill. The resonating strike won't land, and the Infernal Drake, Infernal Soul rather, will put a lot of damage on the side of UST.
Exactly. Look at this. We're 26 minutes into the game. Look at 428. This is the dream that you want to accomplish with kill. You're level 16. You already have your optimal item spikes as well, and you're just wreaking havoc onto the side of FIT. Look at that damage trade.
Oh no! And look at the ultimate as well. At mukhang madedelay resonating strike. Outplay ka muna coming in from the jungler of FIT. But I have to commend for Zando played this game very beautifully as scaled. 9-4-5 on this scale. And I doubted the first pick. But mukhang mauuna muna ang Forge God. Natama sa Misfortune. Walang flash. Pero na-burn na ang heal. The bonus movement speed will be there. Grabe ang damage na nagagaling sa passive ng Misfortune. Masisipa, pababalik si Crescio. Pero mukhang hindi tatama sa Misfortune as the 2v4 is actually respected by FIT dahil nandyan na rin ang tropa ng mga UST. Two-man stun. The precision in that scatter of the week coming in from Pau. And looks like the ultimate will be bursting down. Ow and Ow will be stunned. Agitukun rather. Looks like this is gonna be a one-man charm. No, a two-man charm to an ultimate coming in from Ezreal. The Syndra will be bursting a couple bit of damage coming in from this Lee Sin. But looks like UST is already securing the bot lane inhibitor and the teleport will be burning down. And this looks to be the Nexus next for UST. Pero Tio, may labanan pang nagaganap.
Yes, they're gonna try to put up the last stand here, but look at the stars aligning for UST. They have the champions pushing in, but oh, wait a minute. Is UST gonna play it safe and back away? No, not really. What FIT is really preoccupied with right now is the constant heavy super minion waves pushing onto them. Top, mid, bot lane, you name it. That's tons of pressure that's organically coming from the side of UST.
Yeah, and
Looks like
speaking of organic pressure, dadagdagan pa nila. Gusto nila mag-baron. Alam mo, sabi nila, Philippine Arts Center 1K, dagdagan pa natin. Baron tayo, tsaka tayo mag-push. It's the tandaan natin ang UST ay may 3 C's. Compassion, commitment, and competence. Hindi ko alam masyado sa commitment side. Pero siguro sa compassion, medyo nagsha-shine sila ngayon. They're trying to take this Baron for that additional 1K to try and close the game as well. But for FITTO, I think they still have the chance. This is a Vladimir. One good play coming in from O could change a team fight. And we're already 29 minutes inside the game. And the death timers are moderately long. They could always turn around and try to get game 1 of this best of 3 series. Again, this is a best of 3 series. Kaya kung bagong dating ka pa lang dito, taga-FIT ka, punasan mo muna ang luha dyan sa mga mata mo dahil alam namin at alam mo rin na babawi ang FIT sa game 2 as much as they could.
Oh man, you know what? I'll agree with you, Omi, but okay, we'll find out if it works out.
At ayun nga, resonating strike na tama dito kay Mike. Sisipain pabalik sa team at two-man knockup. Pero nandito na rin ang divine intervention. The call of the Forge God will bring down the Lee Sin a little bit. Double kill mapupunta dito kay Agi Tocano. Pero Agi Tocano low on HP. As well, the transfusion is available. Pero mukhang tatakbo na si Agi Tocano pakanan. Pakaliwa ang Nexus at hinahabol na siya para sa additional kill. Looks like Agi Tocano will be bursted down by the Dark Sphere as O will be the only remaining member. Hindi na nag-def. The Nexus will fall down. 27 kills. That's 27k, baby. Plus 2 Barons, plus 4 Drakes. 36k ang na-raise nating funds for this game 1. But most importantly, game 1 goes to UST. Best of 3 series to, Tio.
Yes. Oh man, let's go ahead and talk about that game though. Kanina nga nung pick and bang pa lang, we were already talking about how we were both favoring FIT's composition a bit more, dahil nga well-rounded. Like I mentioned, I'm all about compositions that have a bit more contingency, that's a little bit more well-balanced. You have the crowd control to work with. You have some pretty decent damage to work with. But at the end of the day, what UST did beautifully was they fought against what could have set them back, which was anything that was detrimental to the early game would have just made it harder for them to scale. But the fact that it's basically like this for me. If UST took a heavy beating in the early game, then that's going to spell trouble for them. A few kills onto their side, they could afford it. Equal terrain, that's the goal. But the fact that they pulled ahead, that's just lots of... Ah, man, how do I even put it? It's just the dream, I guess, for UST with the composition that they have. And
Sorry.
yeah.
But they did play it accordingly dun sa winning condition nga ng UST. But for FIT, I think they played it well as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They pulled the trigger on the correct times. Nagkataon lang that on those fights, they lost. Nagkataon lang talaga, hindi tumama yung resonating strike o hindi tumama yung knock-up ni Agi Tocano as Ornn. Those were the simple mistakes that cost them the early game. But it was always the correct trigger to go. So I feel like it could have been a different story if those skill shots landed.
Definitely.
So let's see if nag-warm up lang ang FIT for game 1. Dahil nakikita naman natin na ang macro ng FIT ay quite clean as well. Malinis na ng UST. This is gonna be a great best of 3 series. Again, para sa mga viewers namin dito, welcome to Day 4 of Starforge. We have been your casters for Game 1. Abangan nyo ang Game 2 at possibly Game 3 para sa Alliance Invitationals Finals natin between FIT UST. My name is Uomi and together with me is Arctic, and we will be right back after a quick break.
Have you heard the new song for More Plastic? Well, here goes. I shall pray for you. I shall pray for you. I shall pray for you. takes a piece out of our hearts. So I'll run away, away into the darkest parts of me. I need a change, desperately. I thought love was a lost art till you showed me some sanctuary. Now I never wanna let you go, never gonna let you go until we're both on souls running out for love. You were there with open arms when I thought love was a lost art. Empty halls, running with my eyes shut. If I fall, I'm not sure I can get up. So I'll find a way to stand until the light of day. I need a change desperately. I thought love was a lost art till you showed me some sanctuary. Now I never wanna let you go, never gonna let you go until we're both on souls running out for love. You were there with open arms when I thought love was a lost art. If I slowly retrace, I remember days I was locked in gray and all the wild shades swam in my veins. You took them all away. There's nothing left to say. I thought I was a lost art till you showed me some sanctuary. Now I never wanna let you go, never gonna let you go until we're both on souls running out for love. Open arms when I thought love was a lost art. You were there with open arms when I thought love was a lost art.
And welcome back to Esports AcadArena, Day 5 of Starforge. Again, we are your casters for this best of 3 Alliance Invitational Finals. My name is Uomi, and together with me is Arctic Kuno. Arctic ako ng Arctic kanina, may name change na pala naganap. How was Game 1, Arctic?
Game 1. Honestly, I was expecting that we were going to see a lot of action, a lot of interesting plays coming in from both sides. Doesn't matter kung kaninong side pa siya galing, but the fact that FIT and UST really showed up game 1 pa lang nakuha me. Feeling ko going into game 2, mas mataas pa ang expectation ko sa maging galawan ng dalawang.
Yeah, and speaking of galawan, a lot of synchronized action yung nangyari kanina. Naghahanap tayo ng labanan, but in reality, both of these teams are very in sync with each other. Feeling ko if pag-uusapan natin ang collegiate in Manila, these two teams are titans. UST being historically the most competitive collegiate team for League of Legends and even Dota 2 to say. I mean, nag-champion ng Dota 2 team ng Teletigers last year. But for FIT, they just held the biggest gaming con inside a university with EAA. And that in itself is achievement. That means that their place, that FIT, is a great place to let's say, make a culture for collegiate esports. Kumbaga, kung nasa FIT ka ngayon, FIT is quite open for esports. esports. That means mas madami silang magagawang events, and for the long run, it's gonna be better for the players there as well. And not only that, for FIT, dahil nakaka-attract nga ng mga bagong tao ang esports. But for now, we are entering the pick and ban phase for game 2 of UST versus FIT. The first ban coming in from UST would be that Galio ban. Wala pa tayong nakikitang Galio coming in from FIT, so I'm not quite sure kung bakit nila binan yan. But looks like a LeBlanc will be the response coming in from FIT, respecting that pick from Pau.
The target picks are just gonna keep rolling out for the pick and ban for both sides here. Yeah, the Galio, definitely one of the more interesting things that's popping up as far as ban priority for UST. Looks like it will be the Azir as well. So still a lot more emphasis on these mid lane bans coming in for the first 3 champions
Yeah.
that we see.
And thinking about it, this Azir pick for O, we haven't seen it yet. Last week, we've seen a Corki and a LeBlanc coming in from O. So maybe UST researched a little bit. Baka naisip nila na, plays a great Azir. So let's ban it out just to make sure na hindi siya makakakuha ng komportableng pick. Maybe they're not ready for an Azir pick. Maybe they're ready for a Corki, or maybe they're ready for a LeBlanc, but not for an Azir, because Azir has high DPS, and that game-changing Shurima shuffle is always available for any skilled Azir player.
Speaking of game changing, another thing that's game changing that USD will decidedly take off the table for FIT will be that Ornn. I mean, sure, it might have not gone as fully favorable for FIT during game 1. There were some brief and shining moments though, one of which was coming from this Ornn, which is why no surprise that UST decides to take it away this time around. And it will be a Saya last ban for FIT before we start rolling out the picks.
And speaking of picks, UST picking out a different role for Michael and Pau. Michael and Pau out here swapping that jungle mid roles. So ibig sabihin magja-jungle dito si Pau at magmi-mid naman si Michael. Again, we always see that jungle mid synergy at mukhang mag-role swap sila dito. Tingnan natin kung mapupull out nila ang reverse o baka magsimula ang reverse sweep ng FIT dahil sa role reversal na ginawa ng UST in this game 2. And for FIT, they insta-lock this Gragas for their first pick.
Drag. Guess looks like FIT really. No, I'm gonna hold off from observation. I want to check out what that second pick for them is, but yeah, fairly, I would say, safer starts here for both sides this time around. Not really showing too much, but what is that pick gonna be? Okay, we're gonna see some set this game, homie.
Looks like we're gonna see the Beast Boy Bastard in the top lane over here. And Teemo looks to be the response. JK, I'm quite sure that they won't pick this Teemo, but the Morgana will be hovered instead. Change to an Echo real quick. Medyo binabamboozle tayo dito. And looks like he's just running through champions right now. And Senna is already locked in. We are seeing 2 AD carries coming in from UST once again. And I'm saying once again because we've already seen this once. Nag-Vayne Lucian composition ang UST against Admu last week. Vayne Lucian. And it worked out quite well. And we're looking at an Ahri in the mid lane. We don't see that a lot anymore. But for the side of FIT, let's see how they respond to this Ahri pick.
What do we have? We have our jungle side. Are they gonna match it? Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna because I would say
also Theo, you're I think you're quite your mic is quite chopping. Like to chop yung mic mo. Well, yes, I did understand na ang pinili ni O dito para tapatan ng Ahri ay ang Yasuo. And siguro para sa mga players natin dito sa Pilipinas, alam na natin kung anong pwedeng gawin ng Yasuo bukod sa ibenta ang mga rank games nyo o minsan talunin kayo pag sobrang galing ng Yasuo ng kalaban. Ito tandaan nyo palaging mas magaling yung Yasuo ng kalaban kaysa yung Yasuo na kakampi mo. never ka magkakaroon ng kakampi na bubuhatin ka, Yasuo. Hindi mo mararamdaman yun. Pag may nakita kang Yasuo sa laro tas kalaban mo, expect mo na magaling yan. At pagkakampi mo, expect mo na 0-5 yan sa lane. But balik tayo dito sa competitive nating labanan dito. Yasuo against Ahri, I think the wind wall is quite a great tool, in fact, against a lot of range carries coming in from UST. We're seeing a Senna, we're seeing a Graves, a well-placed wind wall will change a team fight drastically for FIT.
Speaking of team fights, this was what I was mentioning earlier, where after they kind of picked the Gragas, I was about to make judgment, but I wanted to see what else FIT was going to be putting out. Gragas, Set, and Yasuo. Again, we're looking at another composition where the team fights could get pretty explosive for FIT. And it does seem that we are looking at something that is a little bit more well rounded. Ziggs! Okay.
We're seeing Ziggs, and I feel like this is going to be a Ziggs bot lane. We haven't seen that for quite a while, but Ziggs is one of those champions that can definitely abuse taking those turret plating early on, and not even just turret plating. Until late game sieging, magagamit mo ang bomba na napoprovide ni Ziggs into sieging more turrets faster. And I feel like this is a great adjustment coming in from game 1 because game 1, they barely touched the turrets. Hindi sila masyadong nakapag-push, and that's what spelled the defeat for them. Nauunang mag-push ang UST palagi, and I feel like with this Ziggs, they will be able to control their waves faster and more efficiently, and eventually leading to them sieging better with this Ziggs. But for the last pick of UST, looks like they will be securing this Jace, and I feel like it's going to be a Jace bot lane, if I'm not sure, or even a Jace top lane. This is a very high octane, let's say just high octane, high damage composition coming in from UST. The one engage that you have, not even a tank, it's a Pantheon who builds AD to be effective.
If there's one thing I could trust FIT to do in this best of 3 is keep the explosiveness coming. Wukong gonna be the final lock in. Okay, support set. This is something I haven't seen for actually no, it hasn't even been a while. It's actually been quite recent. Last a week or two if I'm not mistaken, not just in collegiate, but also I think in PCS.
Yeah, and maybe they're learning from our Southeast Asian neighbors as well. FIT definitely doing some competitive research. But for now, we are looking at a great composition yet again from FIT. Tingnan natin kung magagamit nila to their advantage as of now. This is a classic knock-up combo for the Yasuo. Yes, and actually it's not gonna be a Pantheon bot lane. It's a Pantheon mid against a Yasuo. And it's going to be an Ahri bot lane with a Senna pick. So again, UST with the late swap, playing mind games, playing half of the game in the pick and ban phase. Meanwhile, for the side of FIT, again, going back, a lot of knockups for this Yasuo. Na kay Michael na ngayon kung mababagalan ba niya ang scaling ng Yasuo, because we all know what a fed Yasuo could do.
Oh man, and just looking at what FIT has, they have once again all the tools to make that happen. Every single champion is heavily complementary towards boosting outcomes here in the mid lane. Question is whether or not they can pull it off, because it was I wouldn't say it was too much of a struggle during game 1. I'd say that just so happened that UST was able to capitalize on the few misses that FIT had when it came to those fights. But I think there's definitely a lot more contingency that they could work with this time around. There's just so many enablers to make sure that this Yasuo really shines. But it's not just the Yasuo you want to look at alone. Even just the Wukong mini rework that we had. It was a mini rework, but the impact that it has. Oh my god, double knockup.
It's like a massive rework. Double knockout. I mean, if Akali was broken when she was released after the rework, mini rework Wukong, I would say it's a whole different beast from the regular Wukong. Regular Wukong was scary if you built enough lethality, but now, yung Wukong ngayon, nakakatakot siya kahit anong i-build mo eh. Because the sheer utility coming in from the invisibility and the double knockup, it's just too much to handle for most teams. And for FIT, na sinabi na nga kanina na very macro oriented, this Ziggs and Yasuo Wukong combo ensures only that they can actually siege and take team fights. They're not lacking in any capacity except for wave clear. And grabe ang wave clear ng Ziggs. The moment they group up, the Ziggs could just take all of the gap that they have in clearing waves. Yasuo is not the one you want when you clear waves, but for the side of UST, Ari, Graves, Jace, a lot of poke, a lot of ranged engage, but then again, Wind Wall exists for a reason. Mike? Mike? Unless gusto mong mag chidori tayo dito, mga sir. Actually,
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, but I was trying to say before I realized my mic was gone. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it for the game. I'm really interested in seeing how this is gonna go down between both sides. The dream, of course, is that we see a full best of 3 in our midst, but I don't know, man. FIT has a lot of tools to make that happen, though. Execution. Oh man, this is such a cliche line for a lot of casters, but execution is gonna be key for FIT. I think if they want to push it.
I would say na sobrang gasgas na niyang line na yan. Na yung
God,
execution is what
I
matters.
hate it already.
You hate it already, but it's true though. Hindi natin pwede sabihin na hindi totoo yun. Because at the end, even if sobrang talino ng draft nyo, if 5 kayong bronze at 5 challenger yung kalaban mo, kahit Soraka, Lulu, Janna yung compositions nila, it will work out for them because they've mastered the basics already. Magaling sila mag-kite, magaling sila mag-timing ng skills, ng roams, and that's what sets them apart. And again, that all boils down to execution. Now, both of these compositions are quite well made. May strengths sila, may weaknesses sila. It just matters on paano mo lalaruin yung strengths mo. At kung paano i-exploit ng kalaban mo yung mga weaknesses nyo. Nasa Art of War yan ni Sun Tzu. Joke lang, di ko alam kung... Joke lang. I haven't read that book yet. I'm a fan of, let's say, fantasy genre. And skill books. Gusto ko yung may natututunan akong gawin. But speaking of natututunan na, in manhwa as well, I actually work for a manhwa company.
Yeah.
Hindi na ako anong content nun. But we are already starting game 2 between FIT and UST at mukhang walang mangyayaring 5-man invade compared to game 1 kanina.
Looks like nobody's really gonna push for funny business this time. It is match point for, well, it's a best of 3 game too, but nobody's really gonna do anything suspicious, I would say.
Wala mo ng mga cheesy strategies.
No,
kasi medyo delikado na ang lugar ng FIT ngayon. Medyo cheesy nga yung ginawa ng UST. Bro, mo nag-roll swap kalagitnaan ng best of 3 series.
Actually,
talk about unpredictability, but FIT is sticking to their main guns, still in this mid lane, and of course, si Alphabet nandito pa rin sa jungle.
Alphabet. Oh, okay, Alphabet. It took me a while to digest what Alphabet. Okay, gotcha. But yeah, you know what? Into the laning we go. I really want to see how, because for FIT, I think for anybody that knows the bare essentials, the basic knowledge of League, it's very clear what they need to accomplish with the composition that they have. For UST, it's a little bit of a different story, though, because, like Yuomi mentioned, it's very high octane, tons of damage, as Freak would say, but you don't really have as much... you don't really have the loads of crowd control for contingency that FIT has. That said, if you're going to fall behind with the composition that UST has, it's very reminiscent of what I was saying earlier. It's just that this time you have way less to work with if you're UST in terms of controlling fights.
Imagine you're Wukong, you press one button, E, enter that Jace with a ranged cannon, and then suddenly you slap him with your stick again and again with that bonus movement speed, and 3/4 of Jace's HP is gone. That's how big of a deal it is for this Wukong in the top lane. And we're already looking at 428 flashing out to safety with the heal coming in from the potion. Again, this Wukong looking to take control of this top lane already in a 5 CS lead.
Yeah, luckily for 428, that corrupting potion gave him that speck of staying, surviving power to make sure that his flash out just makes it out in the nick of time. But yeah, so far, I think it's all going to come down to how much USC can roll with the punches this time around, because what we're looking for on the flip
Ignite
side,
to a stun to a first blood going to Michael in this mid lane. Debut game as a mid laner in EAA Alliance Invitationals, taking first blood against O.
it's pretty good for UST. They want to try to pick up every single kill that they can, just so that to make up for whatever lack of control that they have in team
Oh
fights.
no, Pao looks to be in trouble. Great dash to dodge that body slam, but the damage coming in from Jace will be there as well. Agito already on invisibility. He dives in on Alphabet over here at half an HP already. Gragas is forced to back off. Medyo pinalo siya ng hammer, pero magkakaroon ba ng turnaround dito as they walk away safely? This bottom lane duo of Crescio and Len looks to be harassing the set support.
Luckily, both members of FIT will be able to back off with no problem whatsoever. What I was kind of worried about in the midst of that aggression coming in from USC towards the top side is whether or not 428 could have gotten the snipe onto Wukong, because he was extremely locally. The body call claiming for Gragas just to not make that feasible, and yeah, all's well ends well.
Yeah, it looks like the bottom lane duo of UST will be trying to bully out Nye Nye and RNG Zero over here. Dappled Star is really good with this Senna. The slow coming in from Glacial Augment, the damage from her auto attacks is just too real at this point. RNG Zero already at the back of his AD carry, and it's not like Seth has a lantern to pull his carry back.
Yeah, this is what I'm expecting of USD. Hey, you know what? We have all the damage in the world to work with. Why don't we try to push for as much oppression as we can, just so that it doesn't really scare us as much, even though they could layer crowd control on us, when we could just bring the damage to them first, just so that they would hesitate to look for these sets in team fights.
And speaking of sets, the set over here in the bot lane already in critically low HP, and it looks like the damage will just come down again and again. The snare will land as well, but the stun will be on O in this mid lane as the Gragas is there. Vince G and Tria, Michael will be spotting that jungler at nandito na nga din si Graves dito sa mid lane. Hindi pa natin medyo nakikita, but the wards will spot both junglers and no fight in the mid lane will break out.
Ooh, lots of attempts coming in. Looks like just gonna back away for now. But yeah, this is quite tricky for Nye Nye in set in the bot lane. And this is a bit of a shame, because especially when you have a set as support, you have that raw damage. But unfortunately, with what's going on in that bot lane right now, you have a Sen and Ari that could dish out just the same amount of damage as a Set, and it doesn't really leave as much opportunities for Set to look for, well, the sets, really, no pun intended.
Yeah, and looks like the snare has been landing again and again for Crescio over here in the bottom lane. It actually burns out the teleport coming in from this Ziggs, but look at the CS differential. The oppression has been too great of a deal for the bottom lane of FIT that they couldn't even CS well. Len has doubled the CS of Nye Nye in this game, but looks like Alphabet in the top lane looking to kill that number only IGN. Alphabet Master Race, ayoko ng mga numero, and that's gonna be a Pantheon ultimate burn in the top lane as well. 2-1, Ignite is sticking down on the Gragas as it takes one kill back. Agito Kano, no access to the Cyclone, and O is there dashing in, dashing out, and this looks to be safety for the Wukong. Sinigurado pa with the Windlord.
Yeah, luckily, Ao coming in at the nick of 9 towards that top side to make sure that he grants safe voyage for the Wukong to recall. But after all the action happening towards top side, also knowing very well that the Ziggs in set has a bit of catching up towards UST, granted that action made a good opportunity of just going for Dragon whilst all the chaos was happening towards top side.
Yeah, Infernal Drake actually drops to UST. First Drake of the game, an Infernal Drake. Second will be a Cloud Drake. So that means ang magiging option natin dito would be an Ocean Drake map or Mountain Drake map a few minutes from now. And that I think the Mountain Drake map will be an indirect buff for the side of UST. Meanwhile, the Ocean Drake map will be a buff for the side of FIT, but looks like the knockup will land on Vince Gentria. The shield will block a little bit of damage. It gives him the flash out to safety, but will it be safe enough? And he will be walking back to his tower, saving his life from that 2v1.
We're already nearing that 10-minute mark for UST and FIT. What UST want to be wary of is this is where FIT can really start realizing their full potential and pull that trigger. Access to ultimates means lots of opportunity to get those sets that they were looking for. It was a little bit slower just because they didn't have the full artillery to work with, but now that they do, UST is going to have to think twice when they go for these extends in the lane.
Yeah, and thinking twice would be the best option for UST as of now, knowing that the ultimates are available coming in from FIT, and any time from now they will be trying to even out the score in the bottom lane, because as of now that CS lead is only growing, already a 30 CS lead for the side of UST's bot lane, and the gold lead is almost solely generated in that area despite Michael getting that 2-0 lead.
Yeah, ideally UST want to try to continue to look for opportunities to pull ahead, because once we see these bigger rooftop fights, it's definitely going to look much more
Pero
favorable.
puputulin muna kita dito. Nilabas ng LV at bumagsak ang mga Gucci gang dito. Nandito na si Michael dito sa bot lane and forces the flash out of Nyenye. But the stun will lock him in place, and that's gonna be the third kill for this Pantheon as UST taking dominance as a trait in that bottom lane. Pero sa top lane, magkakaroon ng 1v1. Make that a 2v1 with a second Cyclone as the level up will grant him a little bit of HP. Agi Tocado flashes in. 428 flashes out. Will he be kiting this out? Walang ward sa bush. Mag-aantayan sila ng konti. Medyo malulugi dito dahil may ward si Wukong. Sasampalin na lang na isang beses pero malilipat ang camera natin dito sa Graves. Hindi siya matatamaan ng ulti dito ni Gragas. Tumatakbo pa rin siya, kiting away this Wukong. But look at this. Na Pantheon with the Graves in the 3v2 in that Riverside. 428 still alive with the potion. With the turnaround and outplay! The solo kill will go to 428, pero nandito na rin ang last breath as Alphabet will be going down to Michael with a fourth kill of his game, and looks like the set will be stunning him a little bit with a true damage shield, as well as 428 will be forced to back off. Pero tignan mo ang Torre dito sa bot lane, medyo bumabagsak na. This might be first turret for UST with actually an even fight, but UST still taking a little bit more than FIT.
That was quite the prolonged fight that we saw. A series of chases and clashes here and there. But yeah, let's go ahead and highlight some of those important parts right there. A lot of commitment coming in from Agita to try to take down 428. Not really accounting that as the seconds went by where he was chasing them, those cooldowns were coming down for 428. All it came down to was once 428 had his full set, get the right push for the right opportunity to reinitiate onto that Wukong. It was a good done deal. Jace was still packing quite the punch, and also granted him a little bit of time to heal up as well. Now, going to that fight in the Baron pit, that was a little bit unfortunate. I felt like it could have spelled out a little bit more differently for USC. Maybe get an additional kill had that Pantheon veered a little bit nearer towards 428, just so that 428 had access to dish out the range damage that he can. But still, nonetheless, UST have the better footing in this case. Almost over 4,000 gold in a difference at only 11 minutes. That's just a great step up from UST once again.
Yeah, and madadagdagan ba dahil sa mga trade plating na to? But it looks like even with picking up Ziggs in that bottom lane, hindi pa rin nakakuha ng turret plating ang FIT because of the oppression. I think a better selection for a support could have changed that game, but the set looks to be not effective as of now. But that's gonna be a knock-up landing on Pau. The wind wall will block a little bit of damage. It looks like the Pantheon will go ham. The snare will land on the Yasuo as Brightwind is already on a killing spree. Vince Gentria looking for the next target, pero mukhang makaka-dash at flash away ang Gragas at set, and looks like the next objective will be that Air Drake coming up next.
Stars aligning there for USD once again. Not only did they have the hefty numbers, but I think there wasn't as much value for the Yasuo going for the ultimate onto just one member of UST. Would have probably been better if they tried to look for an opportunity where they got more than one. But as a result, you lose off on a lot of that holding power you could have had you have gotten more than one target onto UST. But yeah, again, UST just going to capitalize on that. Not only do they get a kill, but looks like they're going to get a nice shove in this mid lane as well. Outer turret probably going to say sayonara, and there it is.
Yeah, pero nagsayonara din sa top lane si 428. Nakipag 1v1 dito sa Wukong and Wukong just burst him out. Nakita pa tayo ng question mark thing. Mukhang nagulat nga rin dito si 428. Grabe ang damage na nanggagaling sa double cyclone. And ito lang ang item. Cutlass lang ang item ng Wukong doon pero grabe ang damage. But again, nasabi mo na nga, mukhang si Alphabet magkakaproblema dito. The dash, the slow, it won't land. But the snare will land on 2 and the stun will land on Gragas and he goes golden to delay it a little bit pero electrocute mapupunta dito kay Yeye. Bright Queen napatay na dito si Ziggs and looks like the ultimate coming in from Dapple Stars will secure the kill and will be trying to knock Crescio up pero mukhang mapapatay niya muna si Michael at nauubos na ang mga membro ng UST dito. Hindi tatama ang Charm with the Orb of Deception at masasapak, yeeted out of this game, RNG0 killing Crescio for the first time in this game.
Okay, that was an interesting fight that was happening. USC probably, I think what could have given USC a lot more value was had that charm hit a little bit more earlier amidst the chase onto that. I think it was the Ziggs, if I'm not mistaken. If that happened, then I think they could have had better command of that fight. But that said, it just gave much more time for FIT to start to clump up towards that side of the jungle. And yeah, ended up fairly... I wouldn't necessarily equal because the goal difference is still building up towards UST, but FIT is still showing a lot of fight in them nonetheless.
Yeah, and nakita natin kung anong nagagawa ng Ziggs para sa kahit anong team composition. That could have been another free turret plating for the side of UST if hindi na ultihan ng Ziggs ang minion wave na yon. And this is the beauty of having Ziggs in your composition. Pero hindi nga nila na-abuse dahil hindi rin sila masyadong nakapalag sa lane, having that set support and the lack of engage without flash. Kaya medyo nahirapan sila. I could if drafting wise, I feel like another support could have been way better. Let's say Blitzcrank.
Right.
Daming range eh. May wind wall ka. There's literally nothing stopping a Blitzcrank in this composition. But then again, we already have that set and the charm will not land once again. But the teleport will be burnt in that bottom lane as the Wukong will be defending. And the Cyclone will be called the Flash as well. 428 try to deal a lot of damage pero hindi pa nga nakakast. And do it again, Cyclone. Nasapak na siya ng stick and it looks like it's another solo kill for the Wukong.
Oh man, a lot of numbers here still for USC. Looks like FIT is starting to commit members to hopefully go on the
The
defense.
charm will land on the Yasuo and is immediately taken down. And looks like RNG0 with a massive shield coming in from that grit. Pero mukhang Torre pala ang habol ng UST. Bonus na lang ang Yasuo. But nye, throwing bombs. Will it be alright though? Dahil hindi siya matatamaan ng kahit anong CC. They will be defending this top lane.
Push up towards top side. Oh man, look at that nice clear though. It will halt UST from getting any further significant damage towards that top turret. Question is, are they going to stick around? No, they're not going to be sticking around any longer to wait for that wave. They're just going to try to exert some form of pressure.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day,
And speaking of pressure, grabe ang na-apply ng UST dito sa top lane. Yes, na solo kill na naman si Forzando sa bottom lane. Pero UST, with 4 people in the top side, did find success with a kill on O as well. But ito lang masasabi ko. Every other member from FIT is already down in gold except for one, except for Wukong. If Wukong is able to find a great play for FIT rather, their captain could do them one big favor in this game and clinch them game 2. This is a Wukong we're talking about, one of the strongest champions right now in the game, and if fed well, 3-1 already, he could be the carry that FIT needs. But RNG0, mukhang hindi siya makakapag-W, mabuburst siya agad dito ni Pau, and they will be looking to take this Rift Herald next.
exactly. You know what? I'd have to agree with you, Omi. What I would love to see from FIT is, like you said, given the current standing of the Wukong, FIT would ideally want to capitalize on what's already working for them. 3-1-2 on this Wukong. Yasuo, not in a bad setup as well. And like we mentioned, it's just very textbook, this composition that they have. The Ziggs in a set sure is the shakeup, but everything else is just very straightforward. You have all the tools to really make things explosive in the team fights. It's just a bit unfortunate, though, that they're on a bit more of the defense. Ideally, you want to try to look for those sets yourself. But then again, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're a lost cause. Any misstep that UST does in the midst of their aggression is something that FIT could heavily punish. And it's just really a matter of looking for those openings for FIT at this point. And maybe, who knows, we'll see a bit more of a build up here for Agito because he's still on the right track.
Yeah, and as of now, we are a few minutes away from the third dragon of the game. It will be a Mountain Drake considering we are in the mountain map. And again, this looks to be a solo kill. No, a 2v1 coming in from Agito. The second Cyclone will not pull it off as the ultimate coming in from Senna will secure a little bit of safety for this Jace as the Graves will pick up the kill on Agito Kano. The bomb is thrown but hits only 2, and that's gonna be the ultimate coming in from Seth in front of 4 people in the shield as well. Great ultimates coming in from FIT pero wala pa namamatay sa UST. Puro low HP na lang. Ano ang gagawin ng FIT dito? They could pick them up one by one pero mukhang ang heal galing dito kay Crescio will be enough to zone them out. Magiging enough nga ba? Alphabet nandito pa rin, nagre-remove ng ward. 3 people alive. Mukhang masastan dito ang Gragas, and the shield coming in from Michael will be enough to burn the flash away from Alphabet. The smite will be used to slow down a little bit of progress on those minions building up. But Brightwing is already unstoppable on this Ahri. E-Girl ang gusto. At nandito ang bottom lane duo nila. Actually, no, this is Michael trying to zone out 2 people coming in from FIT.
Oh, but looks like they're gonna look for another fight here.
At ayan nga, hindi pa matutuloy ang laban. But this looks to be FIT's fight to take if ever makahanap sila ng engage as they back off. Again, UST looking for opportunity after opportunity. Nagre-respanda ng FIT. What I want to see is them being proactive.
Even though we're still waiting for that moment where FIT really pulls the trigger, bring on the proactivity as you mentioned, Uomi. What I will give to them at least is that this might be looking at the bright side, but in the midst of UST pushing, the good thing is that it hasn't really reached a full acceleration for UST. It hasn't been a steamroll. FIT has been rolling with the punches. Sure, they might have lost a bit, especially towards the top side earlier, but I think they're slowly managing to slow
but let me
down.
cut you over there. Pao looks to be in trouble, uses the ultimate to save his life, but it won't be enough as Agito picks up the kill. Goes to the wrong neighborhood, but looks like the second Cyclone will secure one more kill. Crusher goes golden, it will be enough. Sakto ban, dating ng Boba, he flashes out, but it's still gonna be a shutdown for the Ziggs. It looks like Ziggs is going huge in this fight with a squad of FIT. 2 shutdown kills coming in from Nye as they look for a comeback in the midst of an 8k gold lead.
3 for 2 in favor of FIT right now, and that was the opportunity that they were looking for. Look at this, 3 members pushing in on that mid lane. It does seem that UST, deciding that we might have to give this up. Let's go ahead and do that. Instead, let's try to look for other pickoffs that we can just to try to... You can't really equalize the trade, but they're taking what they can.
And looks like they're gonna take this 3v2. Quite brave coming in from UST, but looks like FIT will be respecting UST in that manner. And I just love the discipline coming in from FIT. You know something, even if it's 3v2, usually tatalon na yung mga tao dun. Tara, kulang sila, tara na. But FIT, with proper patience, knowing that they're coming back from a ton of gold, they're already 8k behind. May disiplina sila. Sabi nila, wag. Let's wait for item spikes. Tsaka tayo lumaban. And I love that kind of shot calling.
Definitely. Commendable mental, I guess, as how I would sum it up, coming from the side of FIT. But, ooh, Yautza.
And looks like the outplay will be complete. That was a 1v1 outplay and almost a help coming in from Crasho as well. And looks like O will be looking for a second fight as well. Life stealing a little bit from the minions as he enters the fight. Wind wall won't be used at all, and the burst is real as well on that mid lane as Ziggs gets killed down by the Ahri. Meanwhile, Agito Kano will be taking it on his own hands to push this bottom lane.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time. I think it will be an easy turret towards that bot side for FIT. 428 should be able to spawn up in case Agito decides to push in a little bit further. But of course, UST will just capitalize on that missing Wukong towards bot side to push in this mid lane.
And again, the Gragas ultimate is used for wave clear. I would say that it's the right call, but it's a sad sight to see. Usually you would want to see that Gragas ult used offensively, but to be used defensively on minions. this just shows how much pressure UST is putting towards that siege in the mid lane. As the charm will land on RNG0, he won't be able to shield that out. It looks like this is going to be 4v5. UST already chunking down the last turret in the mid lane, and the wind wall will save it out. That's a great wind wall coming in from O.
Yes, indeed. Let's go ahead and see how much UST can push the envelope here in the mid lane. We are seeing the 4 numbers, whilst Jace pushing towards that bot side. Take no teleport is still up for 4-8, so go his counterpart. But yeah, UST, interesting maneuvers here. Nice split here, getting a push in that mid lane in case anybody tries to go for a side maneuver in the jungle. 2 members are also prepped, in which case. But Vision is on the side of FIT.
Pow knocked up with the last breath, and again, great wind wall coming in from this Yasuo. Bork will land a little bit on Agito Kano, but Agito picking up the first knockup to a second knockup over here as the set will lock down. Dappled starts, and looks like Ari will be next. Great flash body slam coming in from Alphabet over here. It looks like Ari will be the next. Another shutdown kill coming in for this Ziggs, and Ziggs is holding a lot of gold. The knockup won't land for O, but looks like they will deny the Dragon Soul for UST as 428 is spotted by that lens. 428 already there, trying to make a play. RNG0 hindi matatamaan ng Shock Blast, and the shield will buy him a little bit of time. The ultimate coming in from Pantheon. The shield will block tremendous amounts of damage, but it won't be enough to save his life as O is looking for a second kill. 428 knocking up, not actually going with a 1v1, but ult from Cresho a little bit too late to save his teammate, but will take the kill instead. That's going to be a dragon going for FIT.
Yes, but nonetheless, these are the signs of flight from FIT that is finally coming into fruition. As we can see, they're on the same page now. They're able to get those optimal sets that they're looking for, as we were talking about, given the composition that they have. And if they keep this up, UST, they might actually have a hard time as the minutes go by. Take note, the goal difference really hasn't gone past what its peak was earlier. If anything, it's FIT slowly bringing it down to earth. Back to earth, rather, for UST.
And the Ziggs is slowly becoming a big problem for UST. Nakakasabay na ang FIT sa wave tier. Nakakasabay na ang FIT sa AoE damage. And we're seeing RNG0 with O just engaged left and right. At si Agito Kano, it's already given. Wukong is 40% of FIT's team fight. And ngayon, ng win condition na ng UST is to pick off Agito before the fight even begins. But speaking of picking out, looks like they found the Ahri, but the charm will land on O, and O will be walking out to safety after burning that Ahri ult. May 1 charge pang natitira, but he flashes in, but the wind wall denies everything. Imagine mo, binato mo na yung puso mo, pas sa wind wall lang.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Luckily, no casualties at the end of the day for both sides here, but good on FIT though. They're slowly able to not only reestablish and stabilize control in terms of the kill count with how they contend with UST, but also we're seeing some sizable control back on the defensive side of their jungle as well in terms of vision.
Yeah, and in terms of vision, I just love that FIT over here is securing tons of defensive wards in their red side near the Baron area. I think that is the right call. But oh, the knockup will land on Graves pero walang vision at hindi makaka-ulti ng last breath as they look to be looking for the next target over here. O will be running towards 2 people, but they do back up. Agito Kano already on the flanking side as 428. Sneaky mission muna, but he will recall.
It's really tricky if you think about it. UST, this was a condition you mentioned earlier. Ideally, you want to get a pick off, especially off of those more substantial carries that FIT has in these team fights. But FIT has been playing to their strengths to the T. I mean, these group ups have been really good for them. But UST gonna make a gutsy call by going for this Baron. Whether or not they could speed through it in time, we'll just have to see.
Yeah, and we are seeing a teleport coming in from the Ziggs. Hihinga na ako. This looks to be a great fight, and the Baron will be falling towards the hands of the blue team as UST secures this. That's gonna be a 2-man stun coming in from the set, and the ultimate from Cresho is called as well, but look at Set almost down as the Ahri dashes in, dashes out for the kill, and 428 picks out the kill on Ziggs. It looks like the Dragons will be next, and Pao will be on the side, trying to kite out Wukong, and Wukong one more slap, and it won't happen as the shotgun will take 2, and looks like UST takes the Baron, takes the 5 people out of FIT, and this looks to be game.
What the hell just happened there? That was a fight in the Baron pit. when you're when you're UST, that's like the stars sparkling, shining for FIT. You have everybody stuck in a pit where all your crowd control could just layer perfectly, but then again, USC stepping up their game as that fight went along because of the repositions, how they were able to separate from each other. It definitely put FIT in a position they were also going for their respective targets as well. It was a bit scattered for them where they weren't able to just topple over a target right away. And yeah, USC gotta be very happy. They get Baron. A lot of numbers were still up for them. It's just the Teletigers serving it up.
Yeah, and looks like Dragon will be the next objective of this game. Wala pang nababawasan ng Baron buff dito. Only Michael with that mid lane Pantheon ang walang Baron buff. But looks like they're already hovering towards the Dragon side. The mid lane inhibitor is down for FIT, and this means that they will have less control over this area. And looks like UST already securing it with one control ward in the blue jungle, which will be spotted by RNG Zero. Pero hindi niya muna i-ward. It's way too dangerous for him to go alone.
This is unfortunate for FIT. With the loss of inhibitor, it pretty much limits their movement a bit in terms of looking for the collapses that they were already pushing for onto UST. They have to constantly take into account of that super minion wave pushing onto them in that mid lane. Thus limits them because they do have to commit a member to make sure that the defense is kept intact. Otherwise, it's going to be UST getting full command of this map. But yeah, nonetheless, we are seeing them group up nonetheless. It's only one inhibitor in the mid lane. It's not a huge loss for FIT. There's a lot of ways that they can turn things back in.
Yeah, and they do secure that Mountain Soul, a little bit of tankiness to their side dahil sa bonus shield na nabibigay niyan. And frankly, hindi mo masyado mararamdaman yan eh. Kasi yung Mountain Soul, it scales with your own tankiness. And they're not playing tanks. Come on, this is a Pantheon, a Jace. And then it's another fight, and looks like it's a 4v1. Kahit tatlo pa ang dash ng Ari, hindi siya makakaalis pag apat na tao na legit na gang siya dun.
That was a bit unfortunate for Leng getting caught out there, especially considering that if there's anything that FIT would make sure to be on top of, it's at least immediate vision towards the outer, just right outside the walls of their base. So Len had no business being solo around that area. Even let's say he did have an ultimate to make the escape, but when you have that much lockdown coming in from FIT, you definitely don't want to take the risk.
Yeah, and looks like Pao looking for a fight over here, and RNG Zero already tanking too much damage coming in from this Graves, and he jukes out that W coming in from this set as well. Wala pang ulti na nanggagaling dito sa Wukong, but O will pick up the kill on Michael as three people coming in from FIT already low on HP. Dappelstar picks up the first kill for UST. That's gonna be a double kill for the Jace, and two people are left alive for FIT, and it's gonna be Alphabet over here. And Nye one on that Ziggs. Will they be able to clear out the minions before UST breaks their own base?
Yeah, man. I love how UST nonetheless is taking this systematically. They want to pretty much close house here, shut the door, shut as many windows as possible, windows of opportunity where FIT could come back by effectively taking down another inhibitor. Sure, they didn't really push the picture perfect finish that they maybe could have risked, but you know what, I'm all about playing it safer. You know what, why not limit FIT all the more further? We could just regroup, come back, and then go for the finish.
Yeah, and speaking of windows, para sa mga viewers natin dyan, sara nyo lagi bintana nyo. Muntikan ako manakawan kanina habang nagkakast ako dito dahil nakabukas yung bintana ako sa labas. So kahit ECQ, tandaan nyo, hindi ibig sabihin nun nawawala ang krimen. So quick shoutout. Kaya kanina medyo distracted ako eh. Imaginein mo, nagkakast ka ng finals ng Alliance Invitations, biglang nanakawang ka. Pet mo pa, pusa mo pa yung gustong nakawan. So, medyo distract talaga ako nun. But going back to this game, UST taking every window of opportunity that they could find, amounting to a 12k gold lead 30 minutes in, and already that Mountain Soul in their hands. Paano kaya makakabalik ang FIT dito?
Ooh. Oh man, I'm really hoping for a game 3 just because of how interesting, I would say, these games from UST, from FIT, between UST and FIT have been. But looks like UST not gonna grant them that
Oh,
luxury.
nag-ulti palabas ng wall and looks like Pao is decided to try to take this 2v1 as he will not be able to take that. The Cyclone comes in clutch with the last breath as well at mukhang sunod na si Vince Tria, but he does kill Agito Kano with that spear as Crescio will be having a 1v1 with the Yasuo. Nandito na, napop na ang GA ng Pantheon over here and it's gonna be an ace. The stars align for UST as they get this ace and looks like they will get the game, will get that fight, and will get the championship for Alliance Invitationals. Pero nag-recall muna sila. Alam mo, sinabi ko na yung pre-practice kong line. Bakit kayo ganyan?
Ay nako. Oo naman. Kuya Uomi, you taught your boys well for charity. Sabi mo nga kanina nung nagbaron pa sila. Sige, for charity ulit bago matapos yung game. Magbabaron para ulit sila.
Sige, alam mo, magte-take to ako mamaya. Kunwari na lang, di na narinig.
Sige.
Ulitin natin yung line na yun. Okay, so Baron will be taken down. Actually, no. Baron will be taken by UST at hindi na ata mag-contest pa ang FIT. This is gonna be a bonus 1K for charity. Talagang compassionate ang mga members ng UST dito. Pero malay mo, maka-comeback Israel pa tong FIT dito. Hindi natin alam. Baka magkamali pa ang UST, baka magsisi sila na hindi nila sinara yung laro habang nung pwede pa.
Gusto ko yung optimism mo, Uomi. Yan ang kahit nasa alanganin kasi go pa rin ng go, ipaglaban mo hanggang sa huli at yan na nga ang gagawin ng FIT dito. Pero such a huge wall that they're facing right now. Technically, they're the one that wants to have a huge wall to keep UST from finishing out this game. If it's anything that UST is bringing right now, it's the eye of the tiger, the fierceness of wanting to go for that finish. Imagine this. Having Baron, a lot of resources, a lot of structures already taken away from the side of FIT, not to mention those super minion waves, just further adding insult to injury. It's gonna be quite the Mount Everest of a task for FIT to try to still keep themselves in the game.
Yeah, but again, comebacks is still there. Gusto ko i-point out na ang Elder Drake buff is the comeback buff. Ano ngayon kung lamang ng 12k gold din yung kalaban mo? Pag may Elder Drake ka, ma-1/3 mo lang HP nila, bigla nang may boom, biglang duduraan. Biglang mamamatay. So again, if ma-steal ng FIT ang Elder Drake buff na to, this could mean the game. Level 18 na karamihan ng members. Actually, no, level 18 na si Pao and the other members from UST, 17 and 16. The death timers are way too long. If they get a good kill, a good ace in that Dragon Pit, this could spell the end for UST. But looks like the slow coming in from Crescio will be too much as Agito won't be able to do anything at all. And this is already a Wukong gun for the side of FIT as the Elder Dragon looks to be the next objective for UST. And Brightwind, hindi na naman makakapag-charm na windwall na naman ang puso mo, Duday. At matatamaan ka rin ng last breath, mabuburn pa ang flash mo. Wala kang makukuha doon. Pero finally, tumama ang charm as he gets an Elder Drake buff finished with RNG 0 show, stopping the show rather, at napatay niya ang Ari doon. Matatamaan na ng tornado si Pao, pero yan na nga, hahabulin na lang siya. He flashes out to safety at mukhang lilikuran pa siya ng Jace dito. At nag-ulti pa dito si Pao. Medyo pinaglalaroan na ang pagkain as still tries to escape. Medyo maganda ang pag-dash niya dito but Crescio already in the base. 1K, one more, 1K pa, labanan pa, isa pang clash, that's gonna be Crescio getting a kill at he kites down RNG 0, isa pang Elder Drake buff, double kill mapupunta kay Crescio at kanino kaya mapupunta? The Yasuo goes golden but the shutdown will go for the Wukong as that's gonna be the death of Yasuo in the hands of Pao. Again, pinapatagal talaga ng laro na to. Talagang minimilk nila yung pera galing sa Globe. Talagang gusto nilang makatulong sa Philippine Heart Center.
Ay nako, puso talaga para sa UST. Pero pupuso rin ang FIT dito sa laro na to. Take note though, nawalan na sila ng inhibitor dito sa top side. Luckily, nabuhay ang inhibitor nila dito sa bot side. Kailangan nga lang nilang agapan yung super minion wave na nag-push dyan sa bot side. Ewan ko ba, Uomi? Matanong ko lang, natuloy ba yung dapat na comeback ng My Chemical Romance?
Hindi ko rin alam eh. Bakit mo natanong?
Kasi kung ang may mga bandang comeback bila yung mga tapos na, pero yung gaya ng Spice Girls, Jonas Brothers, kung ang My Chemical, comeback na rin.
Feeling ko, sana matuloy comeback. Speaking of comeback, sana may isang comeback team fight.
nga eh.
But that's gonna be a charm landing on RNG Zero as he immediately falls down to the Dragon buff. And looks like this is gonna be the ultimate coming in from Pressure, but Great Wind Wall coming in from the last breath will reset a little bit, but the Elder Dragon buff spitting left and right. And ito na talaga. Take 3. The stars align for UST as they take that fight. They take this game as they take the championship in Alliance Invitationals. And this looks to be UST. Alam mo, establishing dominance. Let's go.
Oh my God. Alam mo, it's such a mix of things that happen towards that end. Kumbaga, ito yung yung feeling na ewan. Yung ilang beses na akala mo matatapos na yung laro pero in-extend pa talaga ng UST, kept it going for charity. Kaya sige, okay lang sa akin na naprolong yung game kasi nakapag-ipon pa tayo ng mabibigay sa Philippine Heart Center. Nonetheless, good job, UST. Great fight, though, coming in from FIT. I really enjoyed the fight that we saw from them in that game. UST just coming off a bit better. 2-0.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of the number 2, we've raised 200k for Philippine Heart Center in that best of 3 finals. Again, congratulations to UST Teletigers for taking the final win. And of course, for FIT as well for getting to the finals and beating out other teams as well. And for FIT, nakita naman natin kung anong kaya nilang gawin and definitely a force to be reckoned with. Nagkataon lang talaga that UST is already in the zone as now. Pero for ito lang, meron sinend ang ating admin over here ng total breakdown. Tio, can you announce ang ating breakdown for Game 1 and Game 2?
Yes, for Game 1 nga, 33,000 yung nakuha natin. Tapos for Game 2, dahil sa generosity ng UST na ma-extend yung game at the cost of maybe getting turned back on by FIT, luckily they still proved through. The result, 51,000 for a total of 84,000 pesos raised for our finals dito sa Alliance Invitational.
Yeah, at iba pa doon ang 100k na nabigay na agad ng Globe at bukod doon ang 10k each pa na nanggaling sa FIT at UST. So all in all, naka 200k talaga tayo, more than pa nga na mabibigay para sa Philippine Heart Center. Again, para sa mga nanonood dito, charity ang finals natin dito. Pero hindi ibig sabihin nun hindi sineryoso ng mga team natin. Iklaro lang natin, baka mamaya iniisip nila nilaro-laro lang dahil finals. Sineryoso nila yon. Pero nakakita sila ng tsansa para mas makatulong pa at kinuha nila yon. I feel like that's just how it went. Kasi makikita naman natin sa early game. Makikita natin kung gaano ka-deceive dito si Agito. And frankly, FIT hindi sila kinulang sa mechanics.
Definitely.
Nagkataon lang na yung execution ng UST was way better at this point. And of course, pulling out that high damage bot lane was one of the biggest factors in that best of 3. But again, you are watching Starforge Day 4. Nang Day 4 pa lang tayo, may Day 5 and 6 pa tayo. Bukas All-Stars naman ang magaganap. Pero for today, ano pa bang meron tayo today, Tio?
Well, we still have our podcast coming up wherein magkakaroon tayo ng sneak peek on what the plans are for both the pro side and the campus sides coming in from both Liab as well as Esports AcadArena with our guests Arian Metanoia Pod Lim and Gerald Magic Stick Sobre Penyan. After that, syempre, ang pinaka-inaabangan ng audience natin is yung chansang makalaro nila yung mga idols nila from Liab Esports with our community match to top everything off towards a pretty nice Friday evening.
Kokorek ko lang pala yung sarili ko. Hindi pa All-Stars bukas. Aces finals natin. Now, Aces, bago pala natin isara ang conversation sa Alliance Invitationals. Again, Alliance is a program for any college, for any university that wants to put esports in their university. At kung gusto nyo pa ng more information regarding Alliance, try going sa ating page, Esports AcadArena. Send us a message, send us an email. We will be happy to reply to you and of course, extend our help into putting esports inside your colleges para magkaroon tayo ng progressive collegiate esports scene. Dahil hashtag not all play tayo dito. Hindi tayo laro-laro lang. We want things to be official. But talking about Aces, Tio, sino ang teams natin bukas?
May teams na ba tayo para bukas?
Ay,
I
oo,
wasn't able to
meron.
catch that. Sige,
Sorry,
ikaw ang mag-inform sa akin.
sinend sa atin na admin ngayon pa lang.
Ay, okay, yun pala.
It's gonna be one up on the finals. One up is Panao, the reigning champions from PPGL Season 2 last year against Apex Tamaraws. One of the other Tamaraws, hindi FEU IT ang iTamaraws. Ang Apex Tamaraws nanggagaling sa FEU Alabang. So it's gonna be the South Boys versus the North Boys bukas sa Aces natin na amateur tournament. One Up versus Apex. Abangan nyo yan bukas. And of course, for All Stars Sunday, boto na rin kayo ng favorite returning pro nyo via React in our Esports AcadArena page. And again, this has been your best of 3 FIT versus UST Alliance Invitationals Finals. Again, my name is Omi at kasama ko dito ang nag-iisang Articuno at magbabalik kami para mamaya sa podcast and we will be right back.
I'm coming back for it, so yeah, I'm coming back soon. There's a lot of things on my mind. Stacking money like 365. There's a lot of things on my mind. Stacking money like 365. There's a lot of things on my mind. Stacking money like 365. There's a lot of things on my mind. Stacking money like 365. There's a lot of things on my mind. Stacking money like 365. There's a lot of things on my mind. Stacking money like 365. There's a lot of things on my mind. between two different things. Yeah, I'm thinking too much, I'm bursting at the seams. Tell me I'm not lost out at sea. Tell me they are listening to me, feeling misplaced. Someone rescue me. Someone rescue me. Someone take me. I'm floating. Someone save me. I'm
I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the Tahoe closest starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep, I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. I forgive the pain you gave to me so long ago. Sleepless nights I laid awake just begging to let go. I almost got to suicidal thoughts, but you stepped in. An angel sent from heaven showed me how to live again. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. My love, I'm gone. I need to be strong. The darkness had tried to swallow me. Some days I fall, but I hear your call. I pray I don't hit the ground. Gravity. 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 Gravity.
Pair of jeans, a shirt or two. We didn't pack as if we weren't going back. Doesn't matter if it's true. I've got a feeling love will give us what we like. The world is waiting up. The world is waiting half a step beyond our door. Yeah. And if it's not enough, I wanna see the stuff the world has got in store. I wanna take it all in, I'm falling. The cityscape by night, wanna catch in my photos. Where you go, every corner twice as bright. They'll be my treasures forever. When I can't hold you tight, I'll see the Stockholm lights. The Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights. The Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights. Tomorrow feels a year away, like the seconds, the beginning and the end. But if in time it's yesterday, your picture's gonna bring it home to me again. The world is waiting up. The world is waiting half a step beyond our door. And if it's not enough, I wanna see the stuff the world has got in store. I wanna take it all in, I'm falling. The cityscape by night, wanna catch in my photos. Where you go, every corner twice as bright. They'll be my treasures forever. When I can't hold you tight, I'll see the Stockholm lights. The Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights. The Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights. I'll see the Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights. The Stockholm lights.
to blame for all of the mistakes I've made. You were gone in an instant, I'm not the same. Okay to be alone, cause I'm still here. You were just an addiction trying to break my life apart. There is no other way. I could speak a word for days, and I start to remember what I hated about you. We are the opposite. It makes me feel more confident that I can learn to resist this. You won't even miss it. You're sick and you're twisted. You're sick and you're twisted. Moved on from the life I knew, from all the pain you had put me through. I am keeping the distance, forget your name. You're all that I had known, and still I know you're near. You were just an addiction trying to break my life apart. There is no other way. I could speak a word for days, and I start to remember what I hated about you. We are the opposite. It makes me feel more confident that I can learn to resist this. You won't even miss it. You're sick and you're twisted. You're sick and you're twisted.
Picking up the pieces that I lost in the lobby. I put you against the wall, you had us body to body. I can't help the way you make me feel, it's so hard to copy. Let's find common ground, meet me in a lost and found, yeah. Dark days turning into dark nights. I hit the strip and spend it all, I'm having hard times. I reminiscing at me looking through the archives. I seen a picture of you looking like a star shines. And you bright, 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 like the lights on a fight night, night. Love hit me like a mic, mic, mic. You know I'ma get it right, right, right. So stay with me. kind of rising up, but always seem to fall behind. And all the lights and all the tunnels faded out and left me blind. Cause in the wild I was getting drunk with something I don't know. Oh mama, oh, the queen of love promised me that I'll be fine by tomorrow. Oh mama, oh. I'm dancing like a maniac and I don't know what's going on. Now all the love within my heart is flowing like the Amazon. Cause in the wild I was getting drunk with something I don't know. Oh mama, oh, the queen of love promised me that I'll be fine by tomorrow. Oh mama, oh. Oh mama, oh.
Moving out of focus, taking up my energy, yeah. How could I not notice that you became an enemy? Up so high, coming down with the gravity. You're pulling me down, down, down. I just wanna keep up, keep up. You're moving so fast without me, supersonic. Supersonic. It don't fit in my equation. Addicted to a memory, yeah. A masterpiece fading since you became the enemy. Stranger that I used to know. When do we become this? Running wild like an animal, just trying to make it through the day, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I don't wanna say what I feel right now. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, you're pulling me up so high, coming down with the gravity.
Baby, wait, I know that you're afraid, but it'll be okay if you just stay with me. And we can run from here and we can disappear, and they won't find us where we are going, dear. So baby, hold on to me, 'cause I know I can make you believe in something that only we can see. Oh, so baby, hold on to me, hold on to me. Baby, wait, I know that you're afraid, but it'll be okay if you just stay with me. And we can run from here and we can disappear, and they won't find us where we are going, dear. So baby, hold on to me, 'cause I know I can make you believe in something that only we can see. Oh, so baby, hold on to me, hold on to me.
You're not as clever as you think you are. You try to run, but you won't get that far. I'm right behind you, like we're racing, like a chase scene. Oh, all your endeavors end with no regret. You play it cool while you try to forget, but it's right behind you, like it's racing, like a chase scene.
inside your bed. I'm moving quick, just like we're racing, like you're chasing.
If I drove to you tonight, would you wanna get away? We could get on a flight and leave today. My mind has been running wild, thinking away I'd rather be now. Know it has been a while since you envisioned what you once dreamed of. Will you take my hand and run? Won't you take my hand and we can get away? Here we go. Our dreams will be awakened down the road. All I know is we'll be reflecting back when we are old. Let's just run, and as we move we'll see all of the stars align. Now we are young, so just take my hand, let's get away tonight. Look out and see the lights, our future starts today. And I'm in love with the sight, there's nothing I would change. When you are here by my side, you're the wind in the sail and I'm in the ocean. We can feel alive, riding these waves out in the open. Will you take my hand and run? Won't you take my hand and we can get away? Here we go. Our dreams will be awakened down the road. All I know is we'll be reflecting back when we are old. Let's just run, and as we move we'll see all of the stars align. Now we are young, so just take my hand, let's get away tonight. Let's just run, and as we move we'll see all of the stars align. Now we are young, so just take my hand, let's get away tonight.
Find me up, me roll the paper with the push. No I push, roll it up and know me brain a push. And it's like me read a book. Tell him I read alone, me murder don't chop me marijuana. Don't violate me rights and don't kill the family drama. Off and roll the weed, smoke the smell it now the breeze. Roll it up and know me mind that is smoking and the finer cheese. More greens than the forest with the trees. So let me tell you why me love me weed. Just the weed I love me smoking. Marijuana promoting. To the skies where I'm floating. I just a feeling good vibes. Marijuana give me good vibes. I just a good vibes. Marijuana give me good vibes. Potency, raw food you know we smoke real sensei. Them want to stop we but you go see. I like the clothes on the RSC. Give me a feeling, make me feel to see it. Marijuana healing, that's how I feel love it so. Just the weed that give me meditation, make me get the elevation. No, we're not gonna let it go. Babylon try to lock we down, I tell yourself we put it down. What this more on the feds for no. I am a ganja lover that me say smoke the weed up every day. While I make a float away. Just a puff puff pass, marijuana boss. Ganja make me get the highest marks in the class. Open at the cosmo, all the moon, me just a pass. Higher than the people with them negative remarks. Me just a puff puff pass, marijuana boss. Ganja make me get the highest marks in the class. Open at the cosmo, all the moon, me just a pass. Higher than the people with them negative remarks. Sister Tiva, the grabber act like say it have a fever. The split them long like say it is a river. The weed man have the package every time he get the liver. Some of them roll like cookies, some of them look like a liver. The weed them connect like hardness, smoke the weed regardless if we smoke the hardest. Yo. Smoking, reach the close and past the stars. I know me on a different planet. Yo. We smoking supersonic. When they grab a kick you, please don't panic. Me love to see the weed when the crystal them the pan it. As me get it, no we gun it's like a magic or it vanish. Make me move slow like the pace on the Titanic.
And welcome back, guys, to Starforge. We will be entering our podcast segment where we'll be talking. I wouldn't really say talking about, but this is a little bit different from our previous podcast topics, I would say, as we're going to be getting a sneak peek of the pro and campus plans for the next few months within the year 2020. Joining me today are some very familiar faces, especially if you guys have caught the previous podcast during the first weekend of Starforge. With me, coming from Liab Esports, is Gerald Magic Six Sobrepena. And from Esports AcadArena is the lovely Arian Metanoia Pod Lim. How are you guys doing this evening?
Well, it's Friday night and we can't go
Yeah.
anywhere.
Ah man, you just had to remind not only me but everybody out there that's kind of like, ooh, I wish I was out right now. How about for you, Gerald? How's things at the Liab Gaming House?
Well, everyone's fine. And I think everyone's in good spirits because of the news that MSI is gonna be cancelled
Mm.
and that we're gonna follow the actual start of the split. So there's gonna be a lot of time for us to prepare.
Oh man, speaking about the announcement, there's one thing I want to ask you guys, but I'm gonna save that towards the latter part of the podcast. If only we have a few extra minutes to spare, kind of itching to ask you guys about it. But we'll stick to the topic first and foremost. Like I mentioned, we'll be talking about the sneak peeks, whatever. Okay, audience, you have to be with me on this. We're gonna try to dissect as much as possible. We're gonna try to get these guys to spill today on what they can for what's gonna be happening over the next months, especially for those of you that are excited for some what's happening on the Liab side, what's happening as far as the activities that Esports AcadArena is going to be rolling out. We have a lot of collegiate players that have been up and kicking and interested in all the activity that they've been putting out there. This is a perfect opportunity to find out and maybe ask a few questions. If I find any interesting questions in the chat relative to our topic today, I'll try to bring it up. Help me out here, guys. Help me out. This is one of the unique things about how we're doing this podcast here on Starforge. So, okay, just a quick recap. We've already kind of talked about the state of what's going on in esports given the whole pandemic uh, outbreak across the globe. Now, I think it's already been a week since we've talked about this. So, how have the adjustments been going so far for you guys since the last time we talked? Why don't we start off with you, Metanoia Pod?
Um, well, because we deal mostly with students, we definitely have to adjust depending on their schedule.
Right.
And well, even if quarantine lifts for most of the cities, or well, they just announced that it's gonna get extended until May 15th. So even if that happens, there's no school and they're not in the state to compete seriously either. So for the next few months, we already canceled our summer split, and for the next few months we will have a summer quarter instead. That more casual, more community building, more of those posts that we've been shouting out recently, like FIT Neil offering his number if UST then solo kills him, and then yeah.
I just love those little banters. This is something I was talking about with during match where usually you get the for some of the leagues that you watch or tournaments, you just get the straightforward whatever's happening on the rift, and just these little bits of banter coming from the players on the side spices things up a bit. How about for you guys, Gerald? How's the adjustment been going over at the Liab Esports side?
Well, actually, we're in the process of um, trying out people for
Ah,
for PCS. I think what's unique about a league format is uh you can change every week the members that you're gonna be playing. So we're looking into the idea that we're gonna try out some people right now that's not originally part of the roster. Um
Oh.
it's a complicated process right now because of the ECQ, but we've been able to have some of them go here in the boot camp to personally try out for certain spots. But that doesn't mean that we're not gonna that there's no chance that we're gonna be fielding the same people for summer. It's just that we want to make use of the the opportunity that you can have as much as five substitutes for a PCS team. So we want to look into having some rookies have some international experience for summer split.
Fair enough. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. Whether or not we'll be seeing any switcheroos, I guess, going into that's still a bit of a long way to go, especially with MSI canceled. There's, I assume, quite a
Say
number of weeks.
something, Arctic.
Yeah, please do.
Because I'm not sure if this was because of COVID, of course, but PPGL did drop League of Legends.
Hmm.
Yes.
So how did that affect your academy team?
Okay.
Ah,
It's a bit of a bummer because that's where we wanted to field the academy first and foremost. We wanted to debut them in that tournament. But considering that, we because of, thanks to Cabbage uh influence not only in C but in across other regions, we have been able to secure scrims with other organizations with academy teams. So basically, it's Liab team one versus their team one, and then their academy team versus our academy team. So um, it it's not actual competition, but I think it's still a good way to spend time during this pandemic, and to maximize all the opportunities that we have to get them ready, just in case in when all of this gets fixed, um, we can field them properly and they can show what they've learned with Liab with their time in Liab.
in connection, I guess this is a question that I'd like to bring up with you, Arian, because now that you guys mention it, the whole pandemic, not only in terms of just PPGL dropping League of Legends, but also in terms of the limit of tournaments we can actually have. I mean, we have a few online community tournaments happening here and there, but there's nothing really as solid, I'd say, that you could use as a reliable scouting ground. Especially if you're Liab Esports, wherein there's a certain limit to the pool that you can lend to, except for just so happen to be esports AcadArena, I would say, where you have a lot of collegiate talent up and coming. Uh, would you, that said, would you say that there would be more activity coming up that grants these organizations the opportunity to maybe look at esports AcadArena as the optimal scouting grounds this time around?
Okay, that's interesting because Leah, we did have boost camp with Leah before the entire lockdown happened, and it was quite successful and it was quite well received as well. And we did try to kind of see how it can work in a LAN setting. And sure enough, it really inspired a lot of these kids. Like simpling, like for example, LG Julie, the Ateneo jungler who won in the by a landslide by the way. I don't know, angkan niya, tinawag niya angkan niya para mag siya.
Famous.
He was commended by TG in that news camp.
Oh
And
wow.
after that day, parang alam mo yun, yung dati hindi mo siya, tapos ngayon, na-recognize ka ni TG, who's the assistant coach of Liam. And now, in their group chat for LG Esports, he's called Liam Julie instead of LG Julie. Like, a short sentence like that can change someone's motivations. He hit Challenger today. And
Oh wow.
for all we know, it's because like it's part of what TG was able to impart to him during that time. But going back to your question, the quarantine situation really made us realize how little access a lot of our community, especially the campus community, has for internet, computers, all that. Like they can't even study. They can't have online classes with it, which is a huge bummer. Cause and then why even think of doing serious tournaments for that? So the activities that we have right now for student orgs again is going to be more casual, more community building, similar to what we're doing with Starforge. And we are opening an amateur open called Aces, the Aces Amateur Open. It just concluded yesterday, and tomorrow yung finals niya. And doon mo makikita yung amateur talent. Liab is going to try test tomorrow, no?
Yeah, we're gonna send TG to ano, to join you guys
Wow.
to be part
That's
of the cast, the
Mm.
casting.
that's gonna be interesting. I mean, even if it was just a spur of the moment kind of thing. I recall Cabbage joining us out of the blue last week, and that actually went pretty well. So I'm really interested in seeing more of these Liab guys just hop in on a cast with us because they, in all fairness, they actually bring some pretty good insight. And I see that even during the AMA, TG has a great personality. So are the other guys. So I hope we get more of
Lagan
that.
yan, lagan,
Yeah.
PG.
Turn into the Laglagan AMA exactly. Since we're generally on the line of talking about uh player development, acquisition, I would say. A lot of what you guys have mentioned. I mean, Aryan already talked about the efforts for development prior to the whole pandemic. Magic Stick, you kind of touched up a bit on your plans going into summer. Maybe there could be changes, maybe not. Let's talk about events a little bit further on because I think with a lot of the competition that's been happening globally, the pandemic just happened to come in the middle of a lot of these tournaments wherein some of them in fact had to get postponed for a bit while the productions, the league operations figure out what they're going to do as far as the adjustments. But now that we're a few months into the whole thing, I'm pretty sure that a lot of these organizations have already planned out how they're going to be approaching what is essentially the summer season already for a lot of these esports titles. And I'm pretty sure for you guys as well, you've already had an ample amount of time to kind of figure out what you might want to be doing going into the latter parts of the month as well, kind of the summer season as well, I guess, for you guys. So, yeah, let's talk about activities and events coming up for you guys. How about you, Metanoia Pod, because I'm kind of curious about how you guys are going to be approaching the summer season in terms of activity, given the climate of collegiate, where, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, some of these players, in fact, with the absence of having their own setup at home, it's been kind of popular where a lot of college students like to lean towards cyber cafes to play. So, yeah, let's start with you.
Well, actually, a lot of how we're designing our online activities is based on our learnings then working with the app. So, Gerald and I, Magic Stick, and I talk about how to engage the audience well during that boost camp. And we have that even if we put pros there kasi, parang lahat ba ng pupunta challenger? Lalagyan mo
Mm.
ba ng rank requirement? What if puro gold or platinum yung pupunta and then pwedeng mahiya sila or posible naman din may mga iron na pumunta and then the most of what they're gonna talk about is gonna like go through their um so the same way we are going to tier our online tournaments based on the type of players that we know already exist. So for example, may mga mahiyain na naglalaro ng league actually, wala pang team. But they want to feel comfortable in joining the campus spirit. So there we're going to have intrams or e-trams for different games na school exclusive lang. So at least hindi sila masyadong mahiya na matalo sila against another school agad. Parang ganun. Parang within the community muna.
Right.
Then next, we're going to have some intercollegiate bakbakan. Na yun lang. Two campuses, four team representatives each. And it's gonna be called rivalries. So for example, earlier today, the Visayas votes for All Stars concluded. I think umabot ng 6,000 votes yung entire thing. and Cebu from third place, University of San Carlos, hit first place, overtaking West Visayas and University of San Agustin. So sadly, USA wasn't able to make the cut for the two slots. So posible magkaroon kami ng USC versus USA rivalries because of that. Because the communities already kind of had voting wars na eh. And then after that, that's aces is where yung rambulan happens. Kapag mas confident na yung mga player. So that's the display.
Okay. Glad to hear that this is the same aces that we're seeing here at Starforge, right? So that's going to be continued moving forward over the
For
next.
different games.
Awesome. Okay. How about for you, Gerald Magic Stick Sobre Peña? You guys have already done a great job, by the way, with Starforge, to both of you. One of the event, hopefully we see more of these events from Liam, not necessarily Starforge, but just general, I think events in general, where we get to see more activity, not only from the organization, but I guess involvement from the players and coaches as well to an extent. Do you guys have any activities or events along the way? If not anything solid just yet, maybe any plan?
Um, well, we're looking at because we have a lot of time now instead of the because instead of the shortened start of for summer split, um, we're looking at doing weekend streams when the players have no um scrims. So we're basically just gonna continue the community matches that we're doing for Starforge. We're gonna make it something that's consistent. Um, especially we're not doing this just to market the players. I think it's also gonna be helpful for the players themselves because I think the situation with ECQ and the pressure of summer split starting is taking a toll on them, and having them relax on weekends and having fun against playing with the same people in a more fun setting is gonna be a big stress reliever for them. So aside from that, something that we learned to give context, something that we learned um ever since spring split ended, and we're scrambling to prepare a roster for summer split is that um it's not just that the we expect rookies or players with no international experience um to have like to have anxiety playing against actual teams, because for example right now I think this is something that I can share because
Sure.
I make decisions for this one. We're trying out Kanji right now as part of the main roster. um he has been able to play in Korea for quite some time, and he has been dominating in KR along with Doi.
Wow.
Um, but when he played his first game against an actual team, and it's not even a strong team. It's just a one of the bottom teams in VCS. Well, he got smashed.
Mm.
It's reality hitting him that okay, there was a certain part of the game that his teammates were asking him, are you gonna can they dive you, or are you gonna die? And he said, no, they can't dive me. And then he famous last words, he dies after 5 seconds. So well, I talked to him, and he realized that well, he told me that he realized that it's really a different thing playing solo queue or playing against Philippine teams compared to playing against more organized teams from other regions. So we were expecting him to adjust faster than the usual players because we have high expectations um, for him. But that's what we learned. You can't really gauge how good the player is um, until he actually plays on stage or until he actually faces an actually good team from other region. So I've been talking to Aryan for quite some time on organizing a separate collegiate league where we're gonna be well we're hoping that the top two teams can be some of the players that we're gonna be looking at to add into our roster.
Oh, we're saying that.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think we can discuss that. I mean, we're just looking for the resources, but I think it's something that's already uh concrete, right? like the need for us is there, and then the need for collegiate players to showcase their own talents. That's not PPGL, or that's not Lenovo League of Champions, is a matter of interest for both of us, right? And especially for us, now that we know that it takes a lot of time, because we I personally, I've been part of Leah for 1.5 years, and we've accepted one or two people only beyond the actual main roster during that time. And we're we're just realizing right now that it takes a lot of time, not just 1 month, not just 2 months, for a rookie to be actually ready to play in the PCS. So like we want to make use of the time that's given to us right now to increase our bench, to fill up the academy spots, and be better prepared for we're not even looking at the summer split, we're looking at 2021, because honestly our roster is aging. I mean, the average age is like 24, 23, and that's a bit old already for an esports team, right? So um yeah, we're looking at doing a separate collegiate league, just a short term 1 month period, uh to see who are the players in the collegiate level that have the potential to be part of Liab.
Yeah. So while Arctic is
Just trying to
in the
get up,
void,
yeah, get back
Kita is
out
the
of the
void.
void.
Yeah. So what's kind of interesting about this academy league is, yun nga, yung tulad nga na sabi mo, we both have that need to hone talent. Kayo to scout talent. For us naman, the reason why we want more experience for our campus teams is because we look at the international scene as well. There are a lot of international campus tournaments that we want to just really be part of that top three, you know.
Mm.
And the thing is, even in collegiate abroad, China still stomps. Like, oh my god, they would destroy Korean teams. Like it's not even close. And even the meta, like before Karthus Jungle was a thing in amateur or even pro, I already saw it in Chinese collegiate. Like that's how advanced they are. And that's just how good these teams are even in a campus level because there's just so much of them. So hopefully the quarantine situation eases up for like the last quarter of 2020 kung gusto pa nating makahabol sa mga international tournaments. And
Mhm.
Karthik is back from the void.
Yes, I am.
You're
Sorry
safe.
about that. A little bit of a bug on my end. Luckily, I was able to smoothen it out. Just had to restart Discord. Hopefully, it doesn't cause any productions to our guy on the back end. Shout out to Justin. um, but yeah, we from what I picked off of, I guess you guys have got quite a bit in while I was reconnecting. I caught it watching on the actual Facebook live. While, um, so there was a bit of a touch up on, you know, Kanji's progression, and I guess it's like academy to an extent. It's an interesting team. We could call it a program in a way, as well. I'd like to, if you guys don't mind, transition the topic of programs to the esports AcadArena side because we already got quite a bit on the alliance program that you guys are running right now. Is there, out of curiosity, if you wouldn't mind sharing more Metanoia Pod, because I think it's definitely an interesting step up to just the collegiate esports industry in general. Is there any more that you could talk about that we, especially looking forward to the alliance program, go further? Um, just a little bit more detail, if you don't mind.
Well, what's kind of unique about the Alliance program based off our other variations that we've tried before is that we're opening it to all student orgs, like all of them. So it doesn't matter if you're like a bio org or a music org. I mean, gamers are everywhere. And your choice of course or how busy you are in your major shouldn't affect you having that experience. Like, may time limit ka sa pagiging student. Like, you have 4 years, 5 years. Well, sa UP, I don't know, may limit na 7. Hindi may bigay pa silang limit na 7. But after that, you have to go to the real world where you probably cannot explore, experiment to go into esports anymore. And we want to give that moment in the limelight na meron kang, kasi kahit naman campus lang yung league mo, later on, kung maganda yung production, you have the same treatment as a pro player. Eh. May big stage pa rin, may prize pa rin, may championship pa rin. And echoing that to someone who can't pursue pro, it's just gonna be the highlight of their student life. Like I'm pretty sure UST uh if they didn't have esports, parang they wouldn't have that if there wasn't campus esports, they wouldn't it's very hard to get that international prestige considering how pro player is so much more competitive.
Agree.
So aside from that, we do have a lot of educational materials for these different orgs because we're going to ask them to choose parang skill tree sa RPG. Like kung anong job yung gusto mo na ma-experience. Do you want to experience events? Do you want to experience being a caster? Do you want to experience more about being a pro? And meron na kaming nakalatag na skill tree. Something like that.
It's an interesting. Okay, I mentioned step up earlier. That's actually a whole step up that I wasn't expecting because obviously, especially during the earlier days, normally I think of the players first and foremost because they're on the front line. We see them on the streams, but we also have those little things, the back end of things, I guess, behind the scenes where we also have the student leaders working with the teams and so forth. So it's great to hear that this program not only, I guess, encompasses the players, but there's also a way of tackling other facets of the industry that you're willing to help these students as well. Okay, so we talked about the Alliance program. Let's talk about just this mashup that we've seen because we've been seeing a lot of collaborations between Liab and Esports AcadArena as these previous months have gone. You guys have had um, the on-site event that we had at ESC, just like two. Has it been 2 months already? I lose count
Yeah,
of
actually.
the
Actually.
number of weeks that have passed by, given how long we've been in quarantine already. And then we have this. We have Starforge going on right now. Are there any other collaborations that we could potentially look forward to in the future?
Well, we're looking at the um I mean beyond the collegiate side of for her plans for alliance. Well, we've recently been notified that from the Mineski side that they're willing to lend their talents to be part of the boost camp. People like Manjin, people like Wolf, who
Mm,
are already doing great as casters for multiple games, right? Um, and what we realized is that some players that are involved in some students that are involved in esports and gaming might not really be good enough to be pro players
right.
or to be esports athletes, but they might have other skills that are gonna fit somewhere in the esports industry, and that includes being what streamer or a talent or an influencer. So that's something that we're planning right now to add in the next iteration of the Academy Boost Camp, and bring in some really established people with experience to share their knowledge to these to students from different schools, because some of them right now might not be thinking about it, but once they're part of they join the boost camp, they might realize that, okay, wait, I have good public speaking skills. It's just that I never realized that I can make use of it and still be part of esports, right? Because
Right.
I mean, ever since right from the start, majority of the the community events that are held for esports are just like tournaments, well, the community matches, um, show matches between other streamers, other talents. There's been no record of seminars or I mean, there's very few seminars or talks that focus on the other aspect of esports, such as the production, the people involved in the production, and the stream itself. So I think that's something that we wanna include in Boost in the next iteration of Boost Camp. Aryan told me that she might want there's a possibility that we do it in like an online lecture in the past, and that's something that we want to explore. I was just iffy about it when she talked about it because well, I thought that the players are gonna be busy. Cabbage is gonna be busy for PCS, but given that the time has been extended for us before the start of the summer split, I think we can squeeze in some online lectures between AcadArena and Liab for the duration of the quarantine.
Something
Can
to
I
look
just
forward to.
share a story about what Magic Stick said? So
Yes.
absolutely right about
What is this?
how certain no, he's right about how certain students may not be good in pro, but not realize that they're good elsewhere. One prime example is Womi.
I just not good. He won a championship in LCL, right? LVL, right?
So Womi, like di naman siya nag-champ sa LCL eh. LVL na siya nag-champ.
Yeah,
So,
LVL nga,
Ah.
LVL nga, LVL nga. I corrected
yeah,
myself.
yeah, LVL. Sa LVL siya
Don't take it
nag-champ.
away from him. He might do something to himself if
Right,
you.
right. Yun, when he was still a student, he was the captain of the team, and because of him, Teletigers was able to grow the way that they are now. Like they're so dominant right now nga, di ba? Pero yung side story kung bakit siya naging caster is because I lacked casters for a certain weekend. And because of that, I've been eyeing for new talent to just kind of throw into the fire. It's just that it kind of sped up because there was an international broadcast for LICC. So I real talk Uomi and told him, dude, I'm pretty sure you have the guts. I mean, if you know him in real life, you definitely know that Uomi has guts. Meron siyang kapal na mukha and diction and good vocabulary because he's a lit major
Definitely.
and for to be a caster. And now look where he is. He's casted PPGL. I think he had a cast with a bunch of people from Netherlands like the other week over a charity stream. So he's going places, and it's just that matter of a push. He didn't believe either na kaya niya until we got into a bit of practice. I was telling him what he's doing wrong because he had that thing that he likes to edit himself on the spot, so he ends up not casting. So I thought,
Ah.
yeah, because he's a lit major, of course he's gonna want to edit himself all the time. So I told him just go with the flow, and then if he says bad stuff because well he's steel, uh, he it's just practice. And yeah, now he's play by play, which is one of the hardest roles.
Hmm. Definitely. I love how we got into that side story for a bit. Yeah, clear examples of collegiate talent showing promise in other fields. Since we're already on the topic, because normally when we talk about people that we see from LCL, LBL, and now Esports AcadArena, normally we recall the people that have gone pro. We have Rays from UST, Miko's from Ateneo. More recently was Vansu from Holy Angel University. Um, are there any talents that we can look at potentially that we might not know of or haven't really been highlighted as much who have managed to make that transition from being active in collegiate to activity in the industry out there, I would say.
I mean, you should ask Gerald. He already saw them anyway. And Kanji used to be was the campus champ.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he's one
More
of them
recent.
in the transition. But you know, Magic Stick, can you share us kung ano yung missing traits na lang ng ibang campus challengers natin ngayon?
I think it's this is something that I've told Kanji in recent days, given the realization that alam mo yun, there's a lot of adjustment that he needs to make if he really wants to be part of the main roster. I think for challengers that want to make the jump from collegiate to pros. I think it's you need to how do you, how do I say this without offending some people?
Okay, okay.
Because I don't want them to come in na mababa na agad yung confidence,
Okay,
na
fair enough.
masyado malayo yung skill level. Ano eh, um I think there's they need to find a balance between um knowing na they still have a lot of things to learn, and still be confident na they can do it, na they need to believe in themselves, na alam mo, with the right guidance and the right training, they can be as competitive as the players who spend hours and hours playing, honing their skills
Mm,
to play internationally. I think it's setting expectations. I think that's what I want to say. Like knowing at what level you are right now, and then knowing which areas you need to to improve. And I think that's something that's Kanji is enjoying right now with the help of Cabbage and TG. So I mean, he has the mechanics. I mean, I've seen him. I mean, even just in the scrim site, yeah, today, they were playing against a Vietnamese team, and he has been solo killing his opposing laner. The problem is when it's already team fights, and then like recall timings or wage management. Um, that's where he is having a problem.
mm,
So obvious naman, andun yung ano eh, andun yung raw skills eh. It's a matter of if the coaches can make can harness that potential and have him really be part of the main roster.
fair
To
enough.
add to what Magic Stick said, I guess it can be the harsher one. You have to
Okay.
I mean, dapat alam mo na by a certain age, if you're not this good yet,
Oh my god,
then
you're going there.
most probably, it's not cut out. You're not cut out. Like most probably.
Yeah,
Kasi it's not about success naman eh. Like there are studies showing that, especially for MOBA, uh, magpipeak ka around what 21 or so because you have a good balance between understanding the macro, the strategy, and having the reaction skills for
yeah,
it.
the reflexes to ano.
Yeah. And then pag magpipick ka ng ganun and then bababa na siya. Like
Yeah,
it's natural. It's biological. It's not you, it's your genes.
yeah,
Um so aside from that, if let's say you are that kid who was like challenger by 15 years old or something, if you do not have the emotional quotient, which you get when you mature, then you will probably not be good in a team environment. Kaya the solo queuers having a difficult time transitioning to a team. Eh. It's because of that. Yung hiya, yung na solo queue god ka before and then now you're in the ocean of pros, mga tipong ganon. If you don't
Mm,
have that growth mentality na hindi ka mahiya about it, and then matitilt off the face of the earth ka na. And then, wala, it's the life of a pro player eh. You're out there, you're being exposed, matatrash ka ng community for a failed crash, for any little thing, really. It's just part of the career.
Mhm. Yeah, pero ano naman, I mean, yung what Aaron's saying is for majority, pero there are some people naman na late bloomer talaga sa esports. I mean, for
Mm.
example, Joker from Sandbox, right? He debuted for pro play at the age of 27. So, alam mo yun, it's ano eh, it's think about how much time and resources you have if you really want to pursue esports. So, alam mo yun, kung lacking ka na sa resources at time at the first place, tapos, alam mo yun, mid-lane ka pa lang for with skill level, mentality, and emotional quotient, sabi ni Aryan, you might want to, alam mo yun, look elsewhere sa esports rather than trying to push yourself to be an esports athlete, right? But at the same time, yeah, I do agree na emotional quotient is a big factor. And to be honest, that's one of the big reasons why we're giving Kanji so much opportunity right now. Because for the last 3 months that he's been in the boot camp, the little things that he's shown is are really great. It's just as simple as when we're screaming, even though he's not part of the main roster, he watches the scrims of the main team, takes notes from Rex and how he plays, admitting that Rex is infinitely better right now than him in terms of like playing in a team environment. Because I'm sure in mechanical skills, you can match him. But like Rex has an aside from his mechanical skills, Rex is one of the shot callers of the team. I mean, the language barrier doesn't matter for Rex because he finds ways to communicate with his team, with the rest of the members. So that's something that we see Kanji taking notes from time to time. And at the same time, um the the day in the first day of the scrim, admittedly, he was hit hard by the realization that it's a different playing field. But the next day he was able to bounce back, and then now he's performing well. And also, I guess something that's good to share is they're playing in Korea right now, right? In Korean server right now, diba? And then I think the account started from like D5. So him and Doi were smashing from D1 to D5 to D1. And once they got to D1, now they're playing against um high skill level players na ng Korea, and then they're occasionally running into LCK players or CK players, and then they lose. And they're for the last 2 days, dahil hindi na siya nakaka-focus sa solo queue dahil nag-scrim na nga, he's going in and out of D1, D1, D2. And um instead of crying na parang alam mo yun, ang hirap ng solo queue na I'm not able, hindi ako nakakaakyat ng maayos, pabalik-balik ako sa D1, D2. He keeps on harping na sa sarili niya lang, naglalakad siya around the bootcamp. Tapos sabi niya sa sarili niya, okay lang natin sa tututo ako, okay lang natin sa tututo ako. Alam mo yun, para siyang baliw pero sa totoo lang, it's a good sign na without us telling him that na okay, mag-focus ka sa what you learn rather than the LP that you lose or you win. He knows by himself na solo queue isn't for climbing. It's pag nasa team ano ka, nasa team environment ka na, it's about learning things from solo queue and then transferring that to actual team gameplay, right? So I guess that's main, the many reasons why we're giving Kanji this opportunity for summer split. Sobrang admirable lang talaga ng work ethic niya tsaka ng mentality niya.
To add to that as well, because I the viewers will think that AcadArena, like because of all this talk, diba, about academic towards pro and all that, um, we don't encourage all students to pursue pro. Not only because that it's like the top 1% to do that. I mean, like at the end of the day, Liap is like just gonna send one team, and that's like 5 people, diba? Um, but also because we believe that there's so much other skills you can learn about your course or esports outside of play. Like that's what we're. I mean, our hashtag is not just play for crying. Like we really believe that, and just because you're not on that stage doesn't mean you can't have a fruitful esports career either. I mean, if you think that way, then what are we? You're a caster. I'm an organizer. I'm a magic stick, who I'm pretty sure wanted to be a pro player before.
Sobrang competitive ko eh. Nalulungkot nga ako pag ano eh. Napufulfill naman yung dreams ko ngayon. Naglalaro kami ng normal tapos binubuhat ko sila minsan. Mm.
Okay, okay.
Binuhat
So
ko po sila sa
anyway,
norms.
so those things, we still have the same opportunities. Like Gerald was able to go abroad because of esports tournaments. I get to go abroad as well because of sending campus teams. Pero nandun pa rin yung yung prestige. You may not be in the limelight, but you're still totally a very important cog in that role. Hindi lang
Right.
to support yung roles eh. There's coaches, there's staff, there's Prod who is typing in all caps right now. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, there's just so many other things. And kung hindi mo naman trip maging player talaga, that's totally fine. Like, hindi mo dapat yun na ikakahiya. If anything, it's great that you're aware of what you want in such an early age.
Yeah.
And at
It, it,
least you
it,
can work towards it. Kasi kami, for sure, hindi namin alam anong gusto namin ng college. Like, ako fine arts major and then naging esports. Yung first job ko, esports agad. So, what the hell am I doing in my life, diba? So, that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this collabs with AcadArena, Liab, and Boost Camps is to help students realize that. Lalo na ngayon na medyo na-displace sila outside the classrooms. I have some players na is actually very bored because they're not in the classroom anymore. Like the tables have turned, right? So
Interesting. I'm glad that you brought that up because I think a lot of people that look at these, like some of the streams, especially the matches, again, that's usually what you see on camera. Um, if not the players, sure, maybe the casters as well, interviewers, analysts. People don't realize that there's just so many facets that you can enter. Really, you could kind of start working on that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us, including myself, you have those initial aspirations of wanting to go pro, but eventually you realize, you know what? I'm just not cut out. I don't have the skills. I'm like at gold something. Those guys that are pro are a challenger. I've been gold for like the past 3 years. Not that I kind of am stuck at gold right now, but yeah, not before. You try to make that climb and then you realize, oh, I just peak at diamond two at most, and that's it. So yeah, other facets and honestly, even based on my own experience, I can say that, just realizing that early on and realizing, it's all about figuring out what your niche is, I guess, and knowing what your strengths are and figuring out at what part of, if you really want to pursue esports, like what part of the industry you could
No, no,
practice.
no. I mean, even in life in general,
Oh, true.
it's a valuable skill to know what you can and you can't do, because that leaves you with making the easy decisions kung ano yung kailangan mo i-pursue, ano yung kailangan mo pag-spend ng time and resources, kasi aware ka na okay, I'm not cut out for this, but I'm good at this. Um, and that's something that's useful beyond esports lang. Beyond yung pagpupursue ng career sa esports. Sa actual life, that's something na you can apply, 'di ba?
I mean, kahit sa pag-ibig, 'di ba? Dapat alam mo kung iwan, 'di ba?
Pag di dala wala pag-asa,
Yeah.
that's a valuable skill. You save a lot of time and resources and money,
Mm, especially money,
especially.
based on experience. Single life, perfect. Defensive, Bakit single ako? Nakatipid naman ako eh.
Defensive
Anyway.
natin, it's always love.
Kaya papunta-punta na lang ng Thailand, na maraming pang bakasyon.
Oh, well, tingnan nyo. See? At least nakapag ano ako. Kala nyo, love life pa kayo dyan. Anyway, okay, let's go ahead and move on to if you guys don't mind indulging me, we've had a lot of great insight and later on guys, by the way, quick heads up lang kasi we're going to be wrapping up this podcast a bit. I'll be calling out the names that we initially drew for the community show match coming up right after this. To if you guys are watching right now, Alcalde, Faith, CJ Pogi 123, Z Jeros, Solace, and Broken Pice. No, Pieces, sorry. Pisces today. Pieces. You guys are the 6 initial players that I randomly drew. So hopefully you guys are watching right now or hopefully naka-idol lang kayo sa mga clients niyo because we'll be inviting you in just a bit sa ating custom room. So congratulations to you 6. If di nyo ma-accept yung invite a few minutes after we open the room, then unfortunately we'll have to start inviting other people just to get the ball rolling. Syempre, ayaw namin kayong pag-antayin. Sasagutin namin kayo agad. Hindi ako mahugot anywhere, by the way. Anyway. Yeah, let's talk about these fun stuff. Okay. Gaya nga ng sabi ko.
May
At the start,
icebreaker na naman to.
not really
Ano?
icebreaker. Just a little bit. Just kinda. Just theory crafting, No, no, no. Just the what ifs, I guess. So
What ifs?
yes, the what if.
Okay.
Um,
I'm just
because
fixing my charger.
sure. Because you guys have been planning obviously over the past weeks, and based on experience, some even in business, some companies usually plan out as early as like kunwari mga patapos na yung 2019 nakalatag na yung plano nila for the entirety of 2020. So I'm sure you guys have a few plans na hindi niyo pa na-reveal. So I'm gonna try dissecting a bit if you would indulge me, kayo na bahala with how you would approach some of these interrogations, I guess. Okay, so let's go straight at it. Kayo na bahalang sumagot ito. Are you going to approach this from a business perspective? Are you going to approach it from your own personal liking and hopes and dreams? First up, if you were to add a game Of course, for you, Gerald, it's gonna be in the Liab Esports organization. You already have AOV, you have League of Legends, you have StarCraft, you have Hearthstone. For AcadArena, you're gonna be adding games in the future, so hopefully we can pick up. If you could add a game to your respective organizations, what would you want to add? Are you gonna approach it as a spoiler? Are you gonna approach it as personal preference, maybe? I'll join in for the fun. Sure, I'll join in as well. If it were me, straight off the bat, I would say Valorant. Pinag-isipan talaga. Pinag-isipan. Isa-spoil ko ba yung balak na namin idagdag o magpa-personal na muna ako? Or magbabambuzel na ako na kung wari personal pero totoo pala.
Okay, kung personal, okay, let's start with personal.
Okay, oh, okay, okay.
Just because I want to see it. Sans the lack of players and all that, I want to see Battle Right Campus. Like, please, oh please, I want to see it. For everyone who doesn't know about Battle Right, and you have Steam installed, this is a free game. Kung gusto nyo magbakbakan lang, in a MOBA perspective, minus the lanes, minus the farming, minus the equipment, this is your game. They
Ito ba
they
yung
did relaunch the esports side of it in NA and EU recently.
ito ba yung third person?
MOBA perspective pa rin siya. Tapos, ano yung
Ah, okay.
talaga siya? No lanes. No
Ibang
lanes.
game yata yung sinasabi ko.
Walang equipment. Talagang skill, ano lang, skill lang.
Kayo rin,
So,
chat, sagmagot din kayo. Okay.
Smite pala yun. Okay, okay. Smite yung sinasabi ko. Sorry.
it's gonna happen here. But for the multi-title games that we're gonna have, it will never disappear. At least this year, kahit may COVID, it won't disappear. We're actually planning a few things for May to July for Hearthstone. That,
Oh.
that doesn't just involve the Philippines, by the way. Yeah. So there's that. What the other thing that we're looking at to add is Dota 2.
Interesting. Okay, some juicy spills from Metanoia Pod here. Okay, your turn, Gerald Magic Stick Sobre Pena. How are you gonna approach this question? I'll give the floor to you.
Ako personally gusto ko i-add sa team namin na team. Or esports title. Gawing esports title. Siguro
Yeah.
Overcooked. Overcooked. I mean, mukha siya nakakatawa. I mean, ang fun ng graphics. Pero sobrang competitive ng game. Nakaka-bad trip na ano. Na it's like that. Na parang minamakan ng mga characters na ano. Hindi ka marunong sumunod ng simple instructions. Mas nakaka, ano siya, nakakabuhay ng competitive drive.
Interesting. Based on experience ba
Based
to?
on experience, oo, nakakaano siya. Akala ko nung una fun and games lang yun, yung pala ano pala siya, ang tawag dito. Intense pala siya. Mas ano pa eh, mas competitive pa ako doon kaysa sa LOL eh. Ano na eh, nag-mellow down na yung competitiveness sa LOL eh.
May shot calling bang nagaganap pag naglalaro ka ng Overcooked?
Hindi pa ako nakapaglaro with friends, as in na apat. Pero feeling ko malaking bagay yung shot calling doon. So,
Oh my God. Yung tipong magkakaroon ng mga FO pa pagkatapos pag may medyo... I can't say bad words on stream, pero alam niyo, pag
oo nga
may kakampi kayong ganun. Marami tayong na-encounter na ganun, Gerald, doon sa circle natin. Anyway.
Why don't you guys add that for your content before PCS?
Yes!
Mag-overcook kami, no?
Overcooked Invitational between the Liab players.
Sakto, kaya pala namin bumuo ng dalawang team. Oh.
Yan. Okay, guys, you heard it here first. Pag nangyari siya, alam na. Okay, let's go for the next one where we're gonna try to pry a bit more. Okay, so let's say, assuming that quarantine is done, the Philippines is back to normal. If you could open something outside of Manila, because obviously there's been a lot of focus on Metro Manila. There's quite a number of cities as well out there now. Actually, I've been discovering this recently, meeting different people in the industry. Now, oh my ganap pala dito sa city na to down south or up north, or even through collegiate, you find out about all these activities from the students, yung mga efforts nila. But how about for you guys? Let's say if you yourselves were to open something outside of Manila, whether it can be a training camp, start a league maybe, or a program activity, where would you want to direct your efforts to within the Philippines, and why? Um, anybody want
I'm gonna start now.
Okay.
I think given with our experience with Doi and Kanji, I think it's a no-brainer to like if we have the resources to focus on building a training camp in Iloilo, and then alam mo yun, looking for the best possible talents um available there. Kasi there's merit to it, right? I mean, Kanji and Doi, kung raw mechanics lang, they're consistently top 10. I mean, Doi ended top 1 last season, right? And then Kanji had top 3 top 10 challenger accounts. Um and at the same time, believe din kami sa ano, sa na-ready sila for ano, na-ready sila. I mean, ang bilis nila mag-mature, ang bilis nila mag-improve. So, pero it took us some time to find them and to for them to be part of Liab. And I think having a dedicated training camp in Iloilo, knowing na they're super competitive. I mean, they won the last AcadArena for League of Legends, right? Kanji's school. So, it's obvious na maraming magaling na players doon. Yun nga lang syempre iba pa rin yung meron kang actual bootcamp there to look for players, to train them. Kasi I'm sure ano, I mean hindi naman lahat ng magulang papayag na ilipad namin.
Right.
Ilipad namin. I mean, kinailangan din namin kausapin yung magulang ni Kanji para pumayag sila na ano, na magstay dito. And then from time to time they're still asking kung alam mo, pinapauwi nila si Kanji because of the
Right.
situation. It's just a good thing na Kanji's committed din naman to the team, and we're doing ano naman as the organization naman we're doing a good job taking care of the kids here, and then making sure that they're safe and they have all the things that they need.
Okay. Okay. How about you, Metanoia Pod? If you don't mind, I'm gonna challenge you. You can't say Iloilo anymore.
Buti
Sure,
na una,
I'm
sabi
more
na
than
buti na
fine
una ako.
saying.
Okay.
We've already worked with Invitational, so the one that I'm looking at is Cebu. Um,
Oh,
not only because, well, my mom's Cebuana, so to an extent, meron akong link doon sa city na yun. And they do have quite the mature esports scene as well. If you look at the other esports tours of the different organizers, Cebu is always part of the list because they do have a significant gaming population. And if we're looking at League of Legends, they just won first dun sa Visayas voting overnight, which was absolutely crazy to do. That means they do have a lot of support there for just one university. Wala pa nga yung iba. And if we're going to also open up for Dota 2. What more? Where else but Cebu kung saan galing Android, di ba? So it's just a strategic location that has untapped potential when it comes to campus.
agreed. Okay, so Iloilo for Gerald. For Arian, it's gonna be Cebu.